as well. Stolen by Deadly. Are you kidding me? They turn it around. 4 heroes dead.
5 heroes dead. Chuan trying to survive. Chuan's gonna go down. Puppy talked about the Naga counter. It's Light of Heaven with this BKB. They turn it around. I don't even know how they're gonna do it. Standing ovation from the crowd. The last tower will be going down.
Start the fight with that global and just try to blow up and get on top of that Zeus right away. Get into that backline. I mean, the Rubik and the Zeus are really starting to be quite an issue for them.
Chalice is in with the opener, straight in with the lasso. The tower will fall, but they'll drag back the Amber Spirit into the torrent, cut him down with the Tidebringer. He's dead once, but on the side, they find Arme. Arme's dead for 60. Still alive at the moment. And all the use! The dodge! Anna up into the end, dodging the Echo Slam. Somnus, he's trapped here in the Sprout. OG, they'll slowly punch down the Kuka. The stall of Vintage Jerax sets up onto FY. OG!
But this PL will continue just to BT split push this game out, get more and more money. And that, for me, is still the biggest problem for Evil Geniuses. Where do you go with this? Fear needs to have that damage-dealing item. But in order to do so, he's got to drop either his TP scroll or sell the Ring of Aquila. And Samel, Blink, Dragon Tail stun. Garda's going to be here with the hookshot as well. Laguna fights Samel. The Cogs Burn bought them a little bit of extra time. And with Samel down and no buyback, Roshan is a very, very juicy target here for CDEC.
Yeah, EG are going to know they're going for it, though. First of all, it would be pretty obvious from the lane situation, but they also have a good ward around the river area to see that CDEC are moving in there now. I don't think EG are interested in contesting this 4-on-5, but maybe they can delay it long enough for it to be a 5-on-5 if they Ice Blast and Fissure properly. There is no hook shot.
They're all together. PPD, here comes the Ice Blast, ready for the dodge! In from Universe! It's a disaster! CDEC! They're going to get wiped from the face of the earth, apart from aggressive. He'll jump out, but the Wombo combo perfectly hits from Evil Geniuses. And now they will take Roshan. Samel is back, they'll get the egg into the Immortal. OG right behind Arme. Gets the jump, finds the Pugner. Vision will not find a stun. Pugner with no buyback. OG, they were really playing with fire. The Hex down the Terrorblade. Spectral Haunt looking for the frontline attack, but that's why Somnus goes into the backline. The BKB, they're into the backline. Shaker, he's bouncing around. Hawk shot, she stuns on the way through. ES is gone. No buybacks available. Have LGD done it? They're holding Anna. Hold him in place. Chalice will find the damage. F5 will die for it. No, really? Anna is actually running away, but it won't stop Arme from blinking up, looking for the tier 3 tower. 2 players left alive for OG. They're the big ones, however. Thompson and Anna on the defense duty. Fortification. It's delayed as much as they possibly can. And now the jump out. Hex, the boy in the bubble. Thompson able to be protected once again. Chalice very, very low on mana. They have a lot, but Arme, he'll change the life with Anna. Thompson needs to be pushed away. Able to do so. FY jumps onto the illusion only, so the hookshot won't be able to connect. But Anna, he needs to retreat. There's so much damage. Anna down. Buyback is available. They still have not taken the mid racks. OG are just trying to delay LGD for the moment. 5 heroes around. The bubble is there protecting the melee racks. Anna, Sunder! Once again, the Sunder switches to life. Arme's back up to full health, but the damage from Thompson, it's good enough to kill off the bait. Buyback is there. Somnus leads forward. They just keep bunching them around, but they're still battling from inside the bubble. Pugner will come to the world living LGD. They're going for the GG push. They're going up the tier 4 towers. OG, they have to hold the line. They have the numbers. 7 from the side with the take on Arme, but no! Sunder is back.
Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome on here for another day of the DPL-CDA Season 2. It isn't what we put in Inspire General. We're here for a new best 3 series between IG.Vitality and Sparking Arrow Gaming.
And this one is honestly, on paper, a bit lopsided, Micah. AGV and SAG have faced off against each other multiple times in the year, and guess what? It's 100% win rate for SAG, not even a single game drop in any of the series. So IGV, they've got to work their way up here. They've been struggling in this group stages, Mike. 0 to 5 right now in terms of 0 to 10 in terms of games. So they've yet to win a single game. And SAG, man, that's not a team that makes it easy to find those wins.
No, they are not. This could be a very, very tough IG.Vitality. You can see them the other day. They did have a bit of problem. I can't remember what team was up against through the DPL-CDA League, but they were having some issues for
10
sure.
seconds remaining.
There are moments of brilliance as well. What if mid-game stage does seem like most teams have their number. And I'd love to see IG.Vitality pull off a victory here up against a team like SAG. I suppose we're going to find out soon. The draft has begun. IG.Vitality, they go for the Nick Assassin first. King Arrow Gaming will go back into that very popular campaign.
Radiant team pick.
Yes.
Oh.
Of course, the Earthshaker was still available, so you just take it.
Yeah. It's a solid opening from SAG. You've got flexibility with where to toss that swap. You've got the team fight control from the Shaker. Both heroes have fairly early timings here. IGV with Nyx, and now the Viper do have pretty solid timings as well. They don't need too much farm with the Nyx Viper, and they really can just start dominating lates, especially the Viper. We've seen that multiple times in mid, where it can really just take over if you're not careful with a matchup.
Well, that it can. Well, IG.Vitality really just to be able to win that mid lane up against that Quap, who probably doesn't lose mid lane very often, especially this current meta, but Viper there either evens it out or the Viper wins, assuming there aren't too many support rotations. And surprisingly enough, you know, every time we watch SAG, it's really a focus on banning out conking heroes. Today, there has been no such thing. They covered the line, but that's it.
Yeah, it's really surprising, especially for IGV. They're potentially letting through the AM, although AM against Viper and Nyx can be a bit tricky to say the least, especially early on. But we've seen SAG kind of go into those less than favorable matchups before, and they don't particularly care, so a lot of favorites still in the pool, like that Nagasaran ban out from IGV means that the Terrorblade's still in play, the AM's still in play, and the PL's in play as well if they don't ban it last. And SAG, they're gonna have a lot of choices there for God King.
That they will. I wonder what they want to go for, like the Terrorblade, you go into the AM, the PL, the Nagasaran. Well, the Nagasaran's not a pool anymore, but you get my point. There's plenty of picks here for God King to take, and it almost felt like SAG knew that he wasn't really focused on the end stage because they haven't actually picked up one of the first phase, which they do generally do, just to be able to secure that one hero he really wants to play. But this time around, they're going to take their time and let it drip a bit later on. I suppose we'll just wait for the final battle from both teams before we get to see where these drafts are headed. IG.Vitality, of course, haven't really their own kind of corporate. SAG, they'll get rid of the battle, but I failed and stuff. IG.Vitality, do you want to just ban out another boss one?
It's a bit tricky here for SAG. They've left the Rubik in the pool, and they've got the Shaker. We've seen a lot of teams, no question to ask, just pick the Rubik up to get that fish on their side. So IGV's got that option with SAG not banning that out. If IGV wants that Rubik into the Shaker, there's a lot of in it. This
there is. The thing is, can you really get a Rubik if we have Nyx? You get forced to run the positive Rubik unless you got another position 5 Nyx. Neither of them are really good as the position 5. Like the Rubik does, you tend to want a bit more fun XP on Rubik. Like you really want to get a stage where you have the Aether Lens up to have a range and maybe a blink back later on if you're feeling a bit spicy, but I don't know, it does seem like one of those things you want to go for. And IG, we'll see what they do. I just don't know if you really want to enter the POS 5. It's really not one of those here.
Dire team pick.
Yeah, they
the bench.
yeah, it's a solid one. Ties up with Viper quite nicely. The Aura plays well with that. You've got the swap as well for additional control, of course. Maybe swap into the Nyx stun. That's a combination that's pretty easy to pull off. I like that IG and out the Terrorblade as well. So that only really gives the PL and AM, which God King plays most often. We'll see whether or not those will be picked up by SAG. They do grab the Rubik themselves, so a lot of pretty good spells here. Like Nyx stun is great, Venge stun is great. Even the Viper spells are pretty nice to spam out. So there's a lot of value there for SAG, and it does give you a bit of a greedier support duo. There's going to be Shaker support as well. And Shaker Rubik both need some farm and EXP, but if you can ride through that initial hurdle of finding the early EXP, then it can really come online fast and allow you to play aggressive very early on.
Yeah, I suppose it can. Now I wonder where to start. Just a point that you generally don't want the position 5 Rubik. So it kind of makes you wonder now, are they going to run a core Earthshaker in the offlane, or are they really going to be satisfied with running position 5 Rubik? It's not a hell. I mean, it is a SAG that you can run unique roles with heroes. Like, so I wouldn't be too shocked if we were to see them run that very hard to Rubik now. And you might tell me a first strat, the Venge Luna comes out.
Oh yeah, that's the strat. This is not something you see slot in too often. It's always banned out, and it does make it true in here. Of course, the Venge Luna having a lot of potential, and just if you find that EXP, then the 2 auras in play can really beef you up. SAG, they've got the Shaker, they picked the more for themselves. Again, going back to that combination, you're not necessarily wanting to rush the Ags. We've seen a lot of teams just have this combo, but not opt for the Ags no more. You just end up going around and shotgunning in for everyone down anyway. So that's something God can consider. And it still doesn't quite answer questions about how exactly they want to run that Rubik Shaker. I believe we've been seeing a lot more Felix on the Rubik, so I think that's pretty much locked into him. The question is whether or not that Shaker's core, it's going to be a bit strange to see that in OP God, I think, but again, SAG is the kind of team to run Doom mid. So if anything happened, it's really down to SAG making some wild stuff happen with her drafts.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Ah, there you go.
Thanks for pointing that way, Josh. We appreciate that.
I didn't see that. It's like, you just assume things go right, but it's okay. It's alright.
It's been one of those things I keep forgetting for some reason. I'm not sure. Anyway, IG.Vitality, the final ban now, or rather their second last ban. Get rid of the Nature's, the Protector. And SAG, now our official final ban, they got rid of the Enigma first. I gotta say, as well, I am liking SAG's draft a bit more. Like, I respect the Luna Venge, sure, but I don't know. The Morphling tends to blow up Luna pretty easily. You've got the ES Morph on the team. You know, and you've got Queen of Pain as well. Like, they're just very squishy apart from that Viper.
Yeah.
On IG.Vitality side.
Yeah, the biggest issue I have with a Luna is your tendency to fight around Eclipse. It's long cooldown. It's not like a terrible metamorphosis where you're just guaranteed to have that damage for a long time. The Eclipse, if you miss it, you miss it, you know? And it's acted by the BKB. It takes a while for the Luna to just be purely a hero. So there's a weird ramp up with that power spike here for IGV. Of course, interestingly enough, the Beastmaster is completely unbanned, so if IGV wanted to go all in on the auras, you'd have the Venge, the Beast, and the Luna in play. That's something that could really work out if you want to play a lot more aggressive early on, if IGV is allowed to pick that up.
5 seconds remaining.
I'd say so. There's a Dazzle being moved now from SAG, IG.Vitality, one more ban. I have a 30-second reserve time for this if they wish to use it. thought used a bit of a. They already the so they seem to believe it is going to be the core EAs. Which,
Radiant team.
again, would be kind of sad that Rubik. No, they'll go into the Enderman, huh? Which arguably should be the position 3 here for OP God. It's still a very, very strong pick up. We commented on how squishy IG.Vitality are.
10 seconds
They don't really
remaining.
have a natural barrier or anything like that right now.
5 seconds remaining.
When you look at the draft of IG.Vitality in comparison to what SAG's got, in my opinion, it looks a bit concerning for them.
Yeah, definitely. It's a very comfy draft strategy. They've got solid combinations. They've got the Rubik at play, and we've seen Felix do amazing work on that Rubik every single time. So just having that tool on hand already makes me very confident with what SAG wants to do. IGV do close out with the AA. So that's an interesting one. Are we looking at the core Venge here in the offlane for IGV? It looks that way. I think that's really that's really the only lane you can toss it in. So interesting one. I mean, that does counteract that Morphling, right? Like that does make it harder for you to shift. It's just that we haven't seen the commitment to last pick AA just for a morph in a very long time. Usually just go for a Spirit Vessel carrier. So we'll see whether or not that investment pays off for IGV, but I've got to agree with Mike. SAG's draft with this kind of closeout is looking a lot stronger.
Yeah, I'd say so. Like, I like the A the more for sure, right? Like, it's that direct count. You talk about it. Like, you could just get a Spirit Vessel and do essentially the same thing. Well, you know, IG.Vitality, they definitely have a chance to win this game, but you talked about the stat prior. You said that SAG has not lost up in the past year. And well, as far as this game 1 goes, are we talking series or are we talking literally not one game?
Literally not one. All the series, every game in each series, like 0% loss.
Every
Yeah,
time.
2-0s, 3-0s. It's just it's a bit much from SAG, but they've been pretty dominant over IGV. So a lot to prove. You know, they really do have a lot in the line. I mean, even in just the groups, like it's been stellar. It's a very, very slight way of putting it, but it's been less than stellar for IGV at 35.
Okay.
10 in games, you know, it's like it's not been an amazing first 2 weeks, but it could be the start for them to bounce back.
It could be. It definitely could be.
Prepare for
It's good
battle.
to get more QIQ than the AA cosmetic out of the cash.
Oh yeah.
I like that one, I'd say. The AA looked very, very bland before this thing came out. Now with that, it looks more menacing.
Yeah.
Yeah, honest that one.
It's a really sick one, and they do have an early smoke. We haven't seen 2 games opt for this one. See if they do get success in finding a vulnerable hero.
They might. They are. If they run to the right, they'll spot DD. There he is. Things come out. How do you close the gap? You probably don't, DD. He realized himself does connect. Not gonna be enough. He's the blink. He will blink away. So the best thing they could have done really on blink, which they got.
30 seconds to battle.
I don't know if you need to mind that too much regardless, because it's Viper. You're not really gonna Shadow Strike anyway. So having the might just be useful regardless of when they get from on.
Yeah, it's not the biggest shutout for the game, as you mentioned, Dan. One thing that they did have was a nice forward board, but Panda took care of that board as well. To not get that vision advantage for the Viper and give Red Panda an additional starting build for himself on the Rubik.
Yeah, you do. Well, you never really want to place the right side of that mid lane because it's just so easy to scout it out and de-water. It gives decent vision, don't get me wrong, but you know, in the pro scene, it's just too easy to scout it out. Red Panda will have to take that the little bit of XP and the decent amount of gold he got. And he runs back up towards the top lane of that route. So again, it's going to be position 5 Rubik. For now, it's going to be on his own in this lane because we are going to see God walking his way up. He's been a bit late to the party. Just spam the shot torn on his way in, but It gives Panda the chance to get his level 2 very, very early. That's not all bad news.
Yeah, you're seeing the same thing down bot from IGV. They had to walk Doodle in to step a bit of that wave. And both of these pause ones just off a slightly slower start than you're used to seeing.
That'd be a bit of a tough time to bot lane here for IGV. Like, you've got the OP going on that positive bit, or the full Earthshaker. Seems kind of hard to do to close the gap and secure CS unless he loses beam. That's a nice feature out for Felix. They'll pop the gale onto Q1, QX, and that might just be first look coming up. He's just got no way of getting out this. Luckily for IGV, does see first block at the top lane first. So it does kill off Red and on that Rubik. Like QX will go dead for bot lane. IGV in the first bonus.
It's a slightly better time for IGV. God Kingo is really starting to pump out that damage on the Orphan. That's one of the issues with Nyx. Your mana pool is fairly low when you spam out that pill. You don't have much to really stop the Morph once you're low on mana.
And can you really Morph regardless? Like, I don't even think they'd kill the Morph anyway without an extra hero in the game. The positive revenge isn't that amazing at killing off heroes in that offlane. Just curing yes and denies. They'll try to harass looking at bit. It's just not going to be any good, especially considering he is 3 now.
Yeah, and while that was happening, they missed out on like 2 range creeps under their own tower, just completely denied. So that's a lot of EXP taken away from IGV, and that just really slows down that lane.
That it does. That mid lane, you'll see the butterfly effect up against each other. The Viper should have managed this lane. It will be equal a quite a harassment out for Butterfly. Just lift away and attack the top lane. Never mind, he does end up down to a Panda. It's that Morphling, he's almost hit for 100 damage already. You can't get too close to this Morph. For the Venge, it's going to be for him to secure the scare.
Yeah, it's been tricky for IGV, and I think they're just gonna have to accept that stop playing. It's not gonna go to the pace they want. The best they can do is soak some EXP up. But there's just no way you're stopping that Morph anymore.
Well, bot lane, OP go. And he probably Doodle. He's continuing to chase. He didn't have mana for that last loosened beam he needed. So I have to let Felix go. A very, very important pick off there for Doodle. Speaking of, I thought he'd have a tough time though. At least for now, Doodle is securing a lot of CS in this bot left. He's top of the last hit point.
Yeah, it's been a great start in terms of that herb fall. You do have a bit of a spike here for P-God. He's got that early earn up. So they do find a kill. They have charges, and the dumb answer is DPS shoots up a ton once you put that debuff onto a hero.
That does. Speaking letting DD able to secure that DD rune that he loves to get on the pain. Felix will come in, fill up the bottle for him as well, just to really give him that added advantage. With the DD rune, he should have a much easier time up against his Viper. Even have a bit of harassment potential out if you really want. I say that, but effect is still zoning it out quite hard. Well, it's a top for this spot, but he's gonna have to just maybe secure some jungle creeps rather than trying to get this lane further.
Yeah, he is set for it. He does have the levels to scream instead of any points in Shadow Strike, so easier to clear out those camps. And well, if you're not bleeding kills to the Viper, I don't think that hero gets as menacing without that snowball effect. But this is somewhat decent for SAG, even considering even that lane has been overrun.
That is true. It was bot lane, the Korea snipe, and it was Korea. Had his brown boots on there, plus more regen, so it was a very nice pick off there from Felix.
Dire's top tower is under
He's still not quite able to slow down the lure at the moment, so Doodle is having a time. However, that might falling quite low, but Dust will just force Gold King back and continue to do so. Really trying to rat out this Morph again. After the time he can stay, and God King will turn back around onto Dust. I've got to say, in terms of farm, God King is surprisingly not necessarily very low, but it's unusual to see at the third place slot at the end of the game.
I think it's been focus on aggression. He's been much more willing to trade hits, and you are seeing IGV. They've been trying to get the side pulse out. They have been trying to be as disruptive as possible toward that creep wave, and it has made it just slightly trickier for Godking to just purely focus on that CS.
Butterfly just giving it the need. He's securing all the power. Oh, I say Butterfly does pop a haste rune and does force the TP out from that quad, so DD back to Fountain, and that'll give Butterfly an even free lane. Looks like with the Nether Top might just forcing this tier 1 tower in a little bit. We do see this a lot out of Vitality. They just keep pushing in that lane. Even underneath your tier 1 tower at the quad, you can't really secure the farm very safe. But forget about for a second though, dude was going to be in trouble top lane. Felix has the control. GY trying to walk this scenario, but it looks like he might just tie up this top damage from OP goal. That Earth slowly away, and yeah, he'll go down. They do pick the first at that bot lane.
Yeah, really big win for SAG. One thing for that happening is that they do get some decent chip damage at tier 1 as well. Their wave is gone, but at 8, that tower's at less than half HP. Shouldn't be too hard for Venomancer to try clearing it out, although they don't really have that ward build, so it's not going to be as fast as you'd expect.
You know, the thing is, considering like how much damage they have gotten out without it, it's OP, and come to Doodle who just hit him with the poison Nova, gonna be expanded, just be dead. They do tackle out, Doodle might get the kill, but they're gonna deny him.
Oh, what? Dust.
Yeah.
I mean, QY got a hit off, but Dust was just done.
Bit of miscommunication, perhaps. Not able to die off the kill, and that's a really unfortunate kill for Doodles, but he just TP'd to the lane. It's making that walk of shame back very soon.
Yeah, and they only trade Felix, who again is on that +4 shaker. That's the core for support. You force the support rotations out as well, leaving your top lane vulnerable, opening that up for God King to free farm.
You can't say this any longer. But if he connects the game, your borderline just gonna die. Especially Felix there with a fish like that. And, oh, nice fire out from QI. A very nice OP and going for the punishment of QI. They're just gonna find that tier 1 tower. Ultimately, he should be dead, but now the fight is TP. Gonna turn this butterfly effect, fighting straight onto Felix. The Viper strike there. QI very low. The KO is avoided. Nice rotation allowed to turn and engage around.
Yeah, that was very, very tricky for OP God. He was blocked out of that pre-line by the range creep. It was just in the right spot, protecting QY, and that's what gave IGV the opening. They even hit the power deny. It's just taking a lot of gold away from SAG, and SAG not going to be too pleased with that trade, although it does open up their lane, so you're not dealing with a Viper down mid. It's a little bit more space for DD. He has just opted purely for the jungle, so he just gets a good ride in his level 6 as the next, and once you have that, you can expect a little bit more activity from IGV.
The thing was with that back rotation, it did give DD more space than that. He had about a minute or where he can actually farm up, and he's actually caught the net worth somewhat. Still has to go behind the Viper, but he's definitely to that point where he can actually start looking towards that Orchid build that we do see recently. And I think SAG won't actually be too upset if we on that tier 1 tower, because now they can look to try and progress if they really want to. Speaking of aggression, I think he's still looking for DD at mid lane. Not kill him off, just to force him back. Perhaps IGV might consider trying to get that T1 tower mid. You can't really contest the Viper here.
Nah, it is still a very big hero at level 9. You do have the level 6s up in IGV, so you've got that Vendetta up. They do smoke up. Even QI, QX having that Ice Blast, they can find a really nice pick off here onto God King if they play their cards right.
They want. He's gonna go in the will spot out. Waiting for him, and now with the ice blast, it is not gonna be too hard to kick him off. He'll try but he is almost guaranteed to die. Butterfly does come in, final back, secure the kill himself. That's an important one. Have seen a lot of teams ignore God King over a lot of the game we've seen. IG.Vitality, if they can keep doing that, it's definitely going to be a much harder game for SAG.
It definitely will be. On top of that kind of kill coming out for IGV, Dougal is under no pressure in his jungle. Like, you do have some wards scouting out, but they can't apply the numbers to stop this Luna, and it should be an easy ramp up towards that Max of Madness, which will really speed up the farm for Dougal.
Some out of that bot lane don't allow him to get farm towards that blink, but when you look at the non-getting Taz, I'll get very, very close to now. So this is one thing they make the reasons is what the SAG are just as dangerous as calls. Especially Phoenix is Earthshaker. And as it stands, you give him another 30 seconds to a minute, he'll have the complete link up.
Oh yeah, that would be a really big spike for the Shaker. They really do need to find ways starting to force that aggression towards IGV. I just feel like they are getting too much space. DD
goes in. Wade trying to go after it, killed it on Q1, but wasn't able to keep going. Noodle was just there. But you doesn't have clips yet, so he wasn't too. Of course, he doesn't know that.
Yeah. That was a bit of a scary moment, you know, just he did, you know, and did just blink in. That would have been a pretty big kill to give away still. They just go back to farming here, and it's not too bad from both sides. Dust is scouting out now with Vendetta down.
Nice loss is flying through. Impelled, he wants strength off him beforehand. It won't be enough this time around. Don't need another kind of hero there to get some more damage out. Focused on that mid-tier 1 summer at the moment. That's even more valuable than the Wolflink anyway. They finish it off. We'll just go back to trying to farm and slowly forcing that mid-wave. So SAG, like people doing top. The lane is all being pushed by God King, he's just focusing the jungle now. The rest of us, they spoke up again. Gibbs has the lead. It goes straight away. That Viper is the time. The dust returns. And we were talking about that blink tag on the earth. She can simply it's going to be very, very dangerous to fight myself.
Yeah, this is going to give SAG the momentum they need. They can start forcing fights, they can start making movements happen across the map to give God King that solid space. One thing I'm taking issue with IG is that they're not really ahead. Like, even they had some better control early on. Dougal's just not getting that network lead you want the Luna to have. It's a very snowball hero in that sense, kind of like an AM. You need item advantage on the hero to really supersede everyone else, and you're not seeing that massive lead for Dougal despite all spaces you can give it.
Not top lane, never mind, could be a bit of danger. Coming in from Dougal, he will clean up DD. Felix is making fun for him now as Dougal obviously has plenty of damage. It's a pretty big pick to make a Queen Pain.
Yeah, it's a really good kill, although that does leave the middle lane a bit vulnerable where you see it plump up, but not quite enough to message to look here just yet.
Well, you don't go up. Felix is looking to he can find somebody for her own. Meanwhile, Dougal does get the T1 top tower. And they are going to protect that T1 mid. So while there is some decent damage being done to that T1 tower by those Venom wards, it's not really anywhere near enough to quite finish it off. Now, cash being thrown out. Let's see that red panda. Not sure what the idea behind that ice glass was. Perhaps just hoping maybe you could find the morphling on very low range and snap it off. They didn't get so lucky.
There's an interesting use from DD as well on the Sonic Wave on the medium camp. Not sure what that was about, but I guess if you're not fighting anytime soon, You might as well use it to accelerate your farm. I guess that's the logic behind it.
I mean, it's a long cooldown, it's 2 minutes, but you may as well be slightly more efficient. You can be. Now with that down, can you fight back if they pick you up like this? Look, the whole team there, go up in fire. Stop up with that blind one. There's the upcoming last attacks. Not you, why? Well, that GP on the top. Now the pitch guard goes down, and well, Felix will also find these and Great flops up, and Bombs the kill on the Strip Panda Rubin.
That is a massive win there for IGV. Just smoking in the right time. They caught SAG with their pants down. They didn't have damage on the end. That is where that efficiency play kind of cost them. They just couldn't fight back in even if Silence faded off, and that opens up the Roche. SAG can't test this one.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's really a big sonic wave of competing. It's just moments like that. When it's fast, it's going to be constantly starting to across the map. That smoking thing's coming. And then go for that vibe. Oh, you can do that to keep Ice Blast. It's going to connect. He's going to make a run for. They won't be able to finish him off. You didn't have the Vendetta available so you couldn't really close the gap on the ball. You had the guaranteed kill on God King.
Yeah, it's a perilous spot for God King now. He's forced to farm this bot jungle because when they lost that tier 1 top, it's just a bit harder to maintain that control there. So he has to be a bit more far forward. He's saving up for on Morph. We're not seeing an offensive build-up for God King. Just trying to keep himself padded up, keep him safe from single target spells, and that might be enough to allow him to win these fights. But then you start asking yourself if you do have enough to eat through the Viper, who's slowly building up, going for the Dragonlance next on Butterfly, and once you have that up into the BKB, this Viper becomes a lot tankier.
It seems that God King might just be confident with his output, especially he'll have the taker on his to be able to get an enchant to put him off. Just won't be on. Okay. So got from the. They just need to buy more time for SAG. IGV just doing what they're doing. It's no as they just continue to upgrade on that lure. And Felix get caught out on the coming killed to dust. They do commit the dust. Red Panda can't close the gap. Yeah, they just can't kill the net. Looks like
yeah, that's a pretty big waste to swallow. That means you're down on Spirit Vessel charges for OP God. He's not going to have that immediately in the next fight, and that might cost them some of that DOT they desperately need coming out from that Venomancer.
Wow. It's be right just there on the line for fun. They're clearly not feeling very, very confident going through. He does have the element and temper on that Luna. He fixed the Luna is falling over. Luna away from the pity. Go down. As Ice Blast comes through. And now TV, but is into the okay. They drop it, might move off, and they get it as well.
Radiant's bottom tower.
I mean, at least you kill the Luna in essence, in sense. But it's not a great fight at all.
No, definitely not. That pipe coming out from Nevermind, causing them a lot of issues. It's just blocking all of the damage from the Venom. And we've seen this before with the Venomancer. When you hit timings like the pipe, when you hit timings like the first BKB, the Venomancer's impact, it really just dips away immediately.
Dust is gonna slap God King this thing. Straight up. Get that drop. Gonna put this impel. Yes, you do. Been setting up consistently on this ball. They're doing a fantastic goal. He's gonna try and punish him in a great spot. Into him. would continue pace.
Yeah, it's IG.V have been able to really start to overtake SAG now. You're not seeing that decent build up on DD that we're used to. We're not seeing the quick farm that we're used to seeing from God King. They have managed to apply that pressure, especially with that Nyx. They are getting some big items as well. Butterfly effect, he's got the Dragon Lance. Still has the Aegis for about 40 seconds. Not much time left on that one. But the BKB is very close now for the Viper. Again, that just ensures that you're not seeing the damage coming out from OP God. You're not going to see the burst from DD as much as well. And you take a look at Duel. Of course, the BKB is next for Luna as well. So you're mitigating all of these stopgap measures while waiting for God King to be big. And this means IG.V can constantly fight while that Morph is still trying to farm out his first few items.
Yeah, that's true. Look, I'm not sure what he's building in now. Like, he's going for Yama. He's gonna go farm Yash, build here, like, into the battle later on. But then he'll just rush the man. So it's he broken it. They do catch. More kicks there. It's on his way from on the they're getting up, still getting Nix's ass. Now Q1 took AA and it looks like the also gave that a bomb. Pop to back to that. Do with team fight.
I'd say that's very costly to throw out. They're not going to lose that top 2 sets. One blessing for SAG if Doodle did force that out. It would definitely not have been worth the buybacks, but do manage to at least trade IG.V and Butterfly TP out real early on. And that's really the safer player. They don't quite have the BKBs on their big cores, so they can't really afford to just sit through those buybacks. And that is an opening for SAG. It gives them a little bit more time to farm up. God King does shift out of his build. He's opting for the BKB rush as well, so that's 2 defensive items on our Morph, but if you can just stand there and do the damage without worrying about the Viper, then it is a lot to play into for IG.V, although same spot.
Same spot, nice spot. She got off beforehand and it enough. It seems as though they one people for HP to get that combo to actually kill him off an extra hero. We're just forcing him back. I can't disagree with that too. I want to do a cooldown on the air that you really come throwing it up every single time you do something.
All these build-ups on SAG, it's really defensive now. Like, even DD is going for the BKB rush. We mentioned God King shifting out of the Yasha into the potential SMY for his own BKB, which is still great, but it's still going to be going into BKBs of IG.V that are also going to be fed up. Doodle already has his 10-second charge, and Butterfly effect, he's flying out his BKB, he's rushing the Ags next on the Viper for that added utility on the Viper strike. So even with those BKBs, you're not entirely safe from that Viper anyway.
Really brilliant of how IG.V played this matchup, right? Also to go for that very defensive goal. I don't think SAG had a choice here. They need that in a back up, so it's just that will actually survive through these takeoffs. Having to commit those markdowns. Now, once we do that in town, it goes to the field. They'll take that. It'll aim objectives. Now,
Dire's top tower is under attack.
just try to play the game, not really want to get in he gets scattered. Underneath the sentry will red handle with another just in case. Apply just casually. Not get anything.
So it's a decent pickup. They are starting to punish that Nyx assassin a bit. They've got a lot of set rewards now across their map, just in not snuck up into. Of course, that does buy the time God King needs to finish up his BKB. He's going into the Scotty next, So again, more stats and just giving you a way to slow down the regen that the Luna can pump up in a man fight with the Mask of Madness. So that's a great solution for that. Of course, the rest of SAG's build-up is pretty defensive. Even Felix just opting for beyond that support shaker, just to again stand there and ensure you get the spells up for the control in these fights.
They're gonna get the big spots right. Only the ability to block through constantly. So you just want to be able to think whenever you need to, and or at least if he does get range, the Viper can't just burst down for the just ruling him from the spinner. Like, but was that mid lane? This it seems as though I'm very aware of this. If also they could try for the rush play and do it. Rest of GG, but it's going to put into it. Let's say, where then? The Eclipse go on God King. He falls very low. He dies of death. More Eclipse coming through to Dribble. And then he'll go back on to DD. But he comes stealing. Jumping within that totem. And they are going to walk him out. It's a one of the same. Doodle will go up to get one kill. God will also die. Now the triple up from Doodle. Oh. And so Doodle does even set team fight by respawning with the edges.
Oh, that is not how you fight into the Luna. Like, they were all way too low. There were a lot of hits being caught. Doodle with a Manta dispel just manages to retake control there, and you have to really be careful about that second life. It's still got the cheese on IGV's end, so there's still a lot of regen left on that Luna, and that's a massive bleed off from SAG. Look good, just giving a lot more towards IGV. You look at that lead Doodle has now, 18k effort. He has pulled very far ahead of the rest of the heroes, and this is exactly what you want when you play that Luna.
That's real problematic. Like, they were so much gold have they just backed up the ages. But I guess you see all the heroes dead around Doodle, you just think, oh, this is an easy kill. It does not pan out that way. Doodle, he the full Iron Scardia. Not to mention a Paladin Sword, by the way, just in case you need it.
Absolutely fair. Really value without a Mask of Mana. The exact drop you want every time when you're ahead.
With that, you see the Offlane build change again. Dive Guardian would actually be very, very valuable for God. Especially you have even more light build on that Luna, but it's good for the top one build, and not fair if you can't life steal anyway. So it's all the but into the BKBs, it could be questionable. So GV argues rotating into that dire jungle. He has walls cutting that out, so he comes back up, and now Doodle will also pushing it back to Temple. Nice little man dodge from that Gale. Fisher, got him next. Spirit better start from OP. Attacking from a mile away to out of that tower range. That'll be it. They'll just get the two for a kill.
Yeah, this is the beauty of this lineup for IGV. The Viper has so much attack range with the Dragon Lance in town. This becomes really hard to even stop the push, even in the hot ground. Like, you've seen the Viper just attack from behind the steps, really do a lot of damage on his towers. So SAG got to be a bit careful. They need a solid way to start these fights, and you're just not given an opening for Felix to just jump in. IGV have been very disciplined to split up and wait for the counter initiation first, and they do still maintain that control on the map. SAG's got some space up top to roam around that jungle, but IGV are setting their sights towards that last outer tower down bot now.
Yeah. I didn't realize JD's actually found up the muscle of the Quap. They definitely have damage. It's not a matter of damage being a problem. they just need to try and kite out these BKBs from IGV before they can actually get that damage up.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Even with Gone King with the shot what he's trying to go for, like they're definitely going to need to wait out those BKBs first. For now, I'm going to just try and shred down these huge towers. Get the top one. He will try to do the exact same thing at the bottom lane, and of course Dude won't be able to do that. I think try to apply a bit of high ground pressure while they're here. Doodle is pinging it out, he needs to go for this. Fish round killings. Still man, Doodle. They won't go ahead further.
They've managed to really clean out the map though. SAG, they don't really have any points outside anymore, so it gets a little bit trickier to get them control, and they are waiting for some to jump up.
Okay, he knows that they're up there somewhere.
Middle tower is under
He
attack.
doesn't try and scare them, but up the high ground, and well, he's not wrong. IGV this area and see if he can actually catch out at least one. Now that OP God is constantly moving forward. Perhaps they have a chance, but no, he'll spot them out. Step back, not anywhere near them. There is going to be a group up down lane from SAG. Going for a smoke. We might be. Let's get the wards out first. The Panda is holding that smoke, but OP God wants to scout out a bit more before they put seams, and he'll Evan's help, but while he's there, smoke up, and they put out the line there. They go back towards their own dire side jungle.
That would be a pretty big pickoff. Doodle is sort of isolated. The rest of IGV is down mid, so flying at Luna would be nice, but it does look like the smoke is not really going to lead up to that direction just yet.
That's not really. It's still feeding up, but the rest of his team has given up that game. I guess it does buy more time for God King just to, which he does now have up on the courier. Dude, though, he's gonna have that full state and it got very, very soon at Luna.
Oh.
Gonna be a real concerning point here for SAG. Unless they're able to keep them alive, it's dust. But poured out in the dire jungle, it's underneath the sentry wall.
Is under attack.
Gonna be nice to pick off there for SAG. When he used that Mantis or God King, just for the shotgun. Doesn't quite get the kill, but it's a lot of damage out.
Yeah, it's a matter of really just catching that out now. Doodle is just a massive factor to deal with. This is an opening for SAG to apply that pressure onto mid, but that Satanic that mentioned earlier is up and running. So you got the Satanic, you got the Paladin Sword on top of that. There's a lot of lifesteal and sustain coming out onto Doodle.
They're gonna get the tier 2 mid tower. Actually, even with that work lead, it seems so confident right now. They are quite hesitant kind of team fight they want to take. But I can't quite blame them because the turn potential from Edge is definitely active. But teams might just want to wait for the next Roshan attempt before any other. We're gonna find out in about 20 seconds when that next Roshan is coming up. That could be the deciding factor in this game, that next Aegis.
Yeah, it's gonna be a turning point for SAG if they can get control there. And that's TP for its bot though. They do see Nevermind.
Hey, John. Let's get cautious. He doesn't know who's behind that bench. He actually won't make the chase. Leave him be. By the way, the Roshan time is going to be a bit late. It's about 2.5 minutes away. A bit of time before we get to see that Roshan coming out. Well, look, IGV don't care about it right now. They want to go after we got 10 of them. Just a bit of freedom behind, but they'll swap him into the OP. Yeah, on this safe for now. Impale going to fight out, and Felix will be for the future just to ensure there's no more chaos. Doodle doesn't seem quite done yet. But Eventually, we'll have to let it go.
That is a pretty big pop though. They do force the Aeon disc. Pop and OP gods. That's about a minute and a half where you're not gonna have that saving grace to bail you out. And that should be a small opening for IGV if they do decide to force the fight out anytime soon.
Dire are scanning.
They're smoked up. The smoke is not going to lead to anything. It does say SAG are well aware that something is right. Doodle gonna get a nice DD room. That's gonna feel nice.
I didn't even notice Doodle hit 25. He's got that lifesteal talent up on top of the Satanic and the Paladin Sword. That is a bit ridiculous.
They jump in, they drop. Go, feel it! It was a huge Doodle. Just lifesteal way back up. And Odd King, he's not. Snowbird is down now from the bench. Team bench down that. They do get the scream off, so he goes down. Now Fisher up Phoenix will just block them off from chasing any further. And team fight is... I mean, you got the Morphling, who lost the support at the core for it. Ultimately, I guess you could say a fairly even team fight between the two. And, unfortunately for IGV, they won't have any to go back to. That Roshan is still 35 seconds away. The time is up the ball. It's only going to be 15 seconds from respawning, so you can't really capitalize much off it.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame. I think the one thing that SEG is getting from stalling these fights up, from stalling the game out, is they're very close to hitting that level 25 spike on DD. They're looking at the Scream of Pain, having that fear, and that's just such a strong tool to ensure that you've got a grace period where the BKBs don't fly up. And that's going to be very important for SAG to try to set the pace of these fights. So probably best to just wait for that spike if possible, but again, with that Roche up and running, probably not going to have that long to wait here.
Roshan's up, and there's actually nothing to scout out at Roshan from SAG. Didn't have a courier there. They don't even have their pump phone, so this Roshan, it's going to go to 5 and it's happening quickly.
Oh.
Nice pickup.
Yeah, this is
that's the blessing. Oh.
Yeah, it's gonna be tricky. It's gonna be on Doodle. Yeah, so they could just go up with dust, no commitment, throw the Eclipse out, and here's something. You don't even need to commit your team anymore.
He even has an arcade rune active right now as well, so he's got this really low cooldown of 8 seconds on him. With the gas, this is very, very dangerous for SAG. They're going to try and force this high ground advantage now. There aren't many buyback on the SNG items that might flip back through the fish on Noodle's going to make it deep. Belts some good. Now it's constant repentance. A buyback on the roof. They're trying to get this defense gone. The pain also playing back for Doodle. It's just rewarding the drats. There are weapons bound everywhere. OP con is ailing this. It goes off the claims.
Oh no. Oh man, that is disgusting. Just Doodle sustain. You can't stop it. Like they've got they've got the Spirit Vessel. They just can't use any of them in Doodle, and it just keeps going back.
It's a lot of damage. Never mind. Also falling below. DD has slick out of there. Nevertheless, well back on the P God. Will make a kill on him. Again, never mind. To trade him. It's not all bad for SAG, but Duke is not great. He keeps on. He still has the Aegis, he still has the BKB. Jump in with the mission, now trying to shove the Manta. We'll see. We're going back in. After that Aegis, they do get it. That's one line. So Egon, buyback, tipping into that tier 4, or rather the BKB XCP on is going to be enough. So Felix trying to go for a Fisher. He did not get the one he wanted. The room again, but Boom managed to be out in time. The Gauge has been a massive win out for IG.Vitality.
Definitely did. They widened their lead to 20k. They forced big bucks out from SAG, and it's going to be harder for SAG to commit anytime soon. IGV, they've got one Rax advantage so far. They've got a lot of items up on Doodle. Butterfly effect as well. He's going for his own Satanic. all the sustain in the world, and only so many heroes you can target down with that. He's just about to hit 25 as well with his tome up. You can that silence coming out on the nether talks, and that'll just ruin you. There it is, yeah.
That is disgusting.
Dire are scanning.
Even Dance with the ads, he's just borrowed it now.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's a huge impower range with that ads. Even the black carapace is quite annoying when you borrow. I believe it just guarantees you the stun.
Yeah, it's troll now coming out from this Nyx, and the great thing about this is if IGV do lose out a fight on paper, as long as Dust is alive, he can really just de-push a lane and defend high ground by himself. That's just how strong the Nyx is without Ags.
Oh, they'll smoke up IGV. They win this team fight, they basically won the game. There are no on this end. And it looks like they definitely could win with Dust having this much control. Borderline being unkillable, that Nyx assassin now, assuming he just borrowed. We've got underneath the Kennedy, which is dangerous. It's an impel off on the Warfling, going after it, Panda, but DP's on Warfling. Now this Sonic wave is pretty darn good. It'll force the BKB out from Butterfly. They're on the deck from Dust, but they aren't able to get in range. Oh, no! He got cancelled off. And God, he's in there. He can't damage enough. Now the Eclipse, they moved it. He just barely managed to get up with their bomb. Oh, I'm sure cancelled off the Echo blip from the Earth Center, but something did cancel it off. May have been the butterfly effect, the corrosive skin, he may have hit it with the fit. Now, good old man, later, Barrett said, can they take you down? Talking, on to the pipeline to get QIQX with a butterfly effect. He went straight into the fire. Now the nether with the gale up, big on, but Doodle is just. His life's in for everything. I thought it's gonna come in knocking. It's gonna be very dangerous. Goes far with that. The mind will not die. OP God, however, will. They do it. Eventually kill them, but he's been caught. So he can't go any further. The 2v4 situation. And NEV, they haven't won him up against MG the last year. Just what now in the DPL-CDA.
Yeah, a very astounding win from IG.
1500 gold. He actually is going to go straight into the pipe here, opting to tank up even more.
Rolling boulder from Zep misses again, but there's the invest bomb, and this time Ohio's in trouble. Roar will come out, they have the magnetize, they get off the silence as well, and Ohio will get right click down. The exorcism will go from Mushi, doing a decent amount of damage to that aggressive. Borslow comes through, he has no infest, he has the armless toggle, needs to be careful, the spirit type coming out, the glimpse back onto aggressive, gets him back in there. They get the grave off in time though, the open wounds will come through, they have the kinetic shield, there's the black hole, from the low ground, on to 3, Step as well as M1 are gonna get chewed down, 3 dead, Mushi gets a double kill, DJ, are you kidding me, from the low ground?
DJ, God, the crowd he just goes insane as he hits the black hole of his life.
Game to RNG 2-1.
Give
They
this
lost
one
to
up.
see
The
that
vision
2 days
advantage with
for
the
2.
Hawk does help.
SAG, it looks like they're kind of struggling to adjust to the changes that 7.27 has brought out here.
Well, one thing I've noticed in particular about SAG ever since that new patch did come out is they're not really seemingly willing to run the illusion-based heroes that God King loves playing. That's when we really see him shine, right? He plays the Terrorblade, he plays... The AM's not so much but he has Blink, and that allows him to farm very efficiently. The PL, the Naga Sirens, all these illusion heroes he loves to run because they're so much more effective at farming the jungle. They haven't been picking up. They've been giving him heroes like the Morphling, which is definitely a lot slower than we're used to seeing from him. And I'm not sure if you call that the deciding factor, but it has been very different.
Radiant.
Yeah, I think it has played a big factor. Like, I think the most impressive performance from God King we tend to see is really that AM, which, as you mentioned, builds up the jungle, plays a lot more passive than just comes in with some early build-ups. SAG, they need to try to bring that playstyle back. I don't think it's been knocked out at all. I think this patch actually does reward that sort of tempo that we saw from SAG in Beyond Epic a lot more. So if they can just kind of work their way back to those drafts, we might see them break out of this small rut they've gotten themselves into still. IG.V, they start with the Enchantress. We've seen the support do a lot in those early phases of the game, but the response from SAG is pretty solid. They take the Mirana out, so even if you play around those enchant creeps, well, the Mirana will be able to arrow them out, take them out of the factory. So that's a pretty solid response to mitigate the impact of that ench.
No, I agree. IG.Vitality now also getting the Earthshaker, which we did see last game. Of course, Felix was quite a bit. We saw some decent echoes, but it was very limited. Just too much in the way of canceling his blink off consistently. And of course, the last Echo Slam we saw was very unfortunate. He just echoed nothing. The blink was on cooldown. So IG.Vitality feeling like they might be able to use it more effectively, take it themselves in SAG. They will with the off-lane Mars pickup.
It's an early one, but again, a very popular one that we've seen time and time again. It's just a really solid frontliner. You can expect OP God to have less of a severe spike down because the Venomancers we saw right when Nevermind got that pipe, the Venomancer's impact was just severely negated. So you're not going to see such a drastic drop off from the Mars. It's always going to be relevant throughout this game, and that should allow P-God to set up a little bit more, take away the reliance from just having Felix start these fights for the entire team, and P-God has a bit more leeway. You don't have the best setups here for the Mirana. A spear into arrow, I guess, kind of works out, but it's not the most reliable, and well, it's still a decent combo. You look at IG.V's ban-out, Mike. They actually do take out the AM this time around on top of that Naga. So again, those big ops for God King off the table.
Yeah, it's pretty different to game one, that's for sure. And, we'll see if they continue removing those position one pickups here for God King. I mean, you're looking at the PO, obviously you don't want to give that away. The Terrorblade, we talk about that all the time. There's that Terrorblade going, so they'll leave the PO. SAG, one more ban out for them. We saw them get rid of the Ursa Quap. I'm kind of curious as well as to what they give DD, because he had a real big struggle in that mid lane up against that Viper. And that hero has not been banned out yet. IG.V might realize that if they could just take that Viper again and guarantee the win in the mid lane, might be a little bit hard for SAG to come back from that. Like we saw DD, he just never really recovered.
Yeah, it's down to how SAG plays down. But DD is the kind of mid player that sets the pace, you know, and if he drops off, then a lot of that burden gets passed to the off lane, a lot of it gets passed to Felix, and usually in those matchups, you know, you don't expect them to have that much to play with. So the tempo IGV denies out with Viper is pretty big, and if SAG don't ban it out themselves, you get a lot of value for IGV. If they do pick it up, I mean, there's Mars here. You just suddenly break the Mars shield, and it just becomes that much more squishy in these fights.
Well, they'll get rid of the Enigma. Just not wanting to deal with that possible position pre-Enigma. They got rid of that last game as well. They just seem to not really want to have to play against that. It's fair enough. SAG now, they do go for Ogre Magi, which will offer them some nice setup there for the Mirana Arrow for sure. As well as the Bloodlust, which has been very effective from multiple drafts from multiple teams. But again, I do say, if you wanted the Viper, you just take it right now for IGV. I would not blame them. They're up against the Mars as well, so having that natural Nether Toxin break is not going to hurt.
It's a lot of value here for IGV, and there's just nothing to deal with it right now. Like, even Ogre does not really do much unless you do step for the arrow a lot, which it's single target control. IG could easily get something else to compensate for that. I think it's bad Viper game. Like, the biggest risk you run is SAG picking up maybe a Razor in response. I think that's a pretty solid way of managing the Viper, but even then, the Razor doesn't exactly have the easiest ways to start fight. You know, it's not like a natural initiate. They do go with a Spectre though, so interesting pickup from IGV. Of course, we've seen a lot of Spectre the past few days. The build-up really is one of the biggest issues. Like, it really depends on what you want to rush in the Spec first. We've seen drums, we've seen Urn. I forget if we've seen the Dominator. I think we've seen that once. Yeah, once on the Dominator, and I believe the Dominator match was the one that had the best luck. We'll see how IGV decides to ramp that Spectre up. And if SAG manages to find the answers to that Spec, you don't want that Spec to go late game. So SAG has to play a much faster game here in number 2.
They will. This fourth pick now, they've seen the position 1 pickup of IGV. It's not such a bad PO game up against that Spectre, if they did want to go down that route, and we do tend to see that quite a lot.
Radiant team pick.
Oh, okay. How can I forget? Of course, the Viper does very well up against the Spectre, so that's a great pick for SAG, and well, that kind of guarantees DD not having a bad mid lane. And IGV maybe thinking about it now and regretting not picking it as the 3rd pick. You know, it is really just a natural counter towards that Spectre. See how IGV want to respond to this.
I'd still say something like a Razor would kind of take away the momentum of the Viper. If IGV were looking for something like that, does pretty nicely against the Mars as well until you get speared away. I don't think that's a massive issue for the Razors, so if you want to them, it still dominates the mid lane, or at least evens out the effect of that Viper if they're looking for something to still make it a bit trickier for DD.
They'll have a think about it.
Radiant team.
Quite a bit of reserve time. Okay, so we go to the Death Prophet, which is it's a questionable one. Not really going to win that mid matchup, but I suppose it's still better than most mid heroes in dealing with the Viper in some sense, because you can just use Crypt Swarm to shove out the wave and then just go into the jungle for a bit.
5 seconds remaining.
Whether it works or not, a completely different story, but it will also allow them to buy space for the Spectre.
Yeah.
Just based off the fact that DP doesn't really need any items to be effective.
Yeah, the biggest issue I take here is you've got 2 big cooldowns here from 2 cores from IGV. You've got the Haunt to be conscious about, you've got the Exorcism to be conscious about, and I'm fine with this one. You know, you've seen teams revolve around the Haunt really well, but revolve around Haunt and Exorcism around really well, that's a different question. Like, you have to really try to find the objectives with a DP, at the same time try to get the Spectre kills with a Hunt. That's not the easiest thing to pull off. We'll see whether or not IGV can hit that stride. If they can, then the Spectre can get really big, and the Death Prophet should shut out that map. It's just a trickier time here with this kind of lineup against the Viper, so we'll see whether or not IGV can ride through that initial top wave that SAG is going to unleash with their much more early spike now. You know, last game was a bit slower. This time around, you can play a lot faster with a Viper over Magi and even the bars around for you.
5 seconds remaining.
Well, pickups now, IGV. Still some kind of offlane pick here for Nevermind. Last game around, he played the Venge. This game around, it was banned out first by SAG. You still need something that can really create some space along with the rest of your team, and that's one of them. The Pangolier, of course. Another one of those heroes that doesn't really need much. He just needs a couple levels, and then he can get involved very, very early on. SAG.
You may now select
The Morphling. Okay, so trusting in God King to be able to pull off the Morphling win this time around. I really do believe, though, ED on that Viper, they should be able to protect that or protect one kind of draft they enjoy running. Unlike last game, where you lose the mid lane and then you kind of start splitting the farm there with the Morph. By the way, nice cosmetics out from these boys as well.
Yeah, they've got that nice Mars set in play. So OP God looking great, and even Felix, look at that, he's got the Mirana set.
Does.
I wonder how much that cost him.
I forgot to ask you, did you buy any of the new caches?
Nope. Nope. No, I actually do. I usually skip the cache. I think I usually dip into the. It's usually like a Trove Carafe, right? That's when I dip into it, because I don't know why. Why do I go into the Trove? Because Immortals? I think I like Immortals more than Mythical. You know, Mythical, it's nice, but I gotta be conscious with my budget, Mike. You know, gotta hold on to that money. Valve has taken a lot from the bundle for me, so I'm satisfied with that for now.
Fair enough. So I have to say I got the tiny rare.
Oh yeah, that is sick.
I bought the 15 treasures just to the level bonus as well for the battle pass. Got the tiny, which is really the only one I wanted anyway. Of course I want the Mirana as well, but you know, the chances are stupidly low to get the Mirana, so it's not. I'm not gonna spend like $500 trying to get it. Screw that.
Yeah, nah. It's a bit much. Yeah, it's still. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, there you go. Oh, you got. There you go. Yeah.
You don't have to do the dance. Just hold the shit up.
I love it. I love it. It just looks so ridiculous.
It does.
Yeah, it's something else. And well, these lineups, Mike. I mean, it's gonna be really interesting to see just how much IGV can get done this time. You mentioned it from draft. DD shouldn't have the bad lane he got from game 1, because now he's playing the Viper. It's his turn to make it a big help for IGV down mid. And Butterfly Effect, and he's got that sustain, but you hit level 3, level 4 in the Viper, it becomes pretty hard to trade with that hero.
Very, very difficult. I mean, intrigued to see how Butterfly Effect does deal with them. So he should know. He was just playing the hero himself, so he should be very well aware of what he's gonna have to go through. But look at SAG. They're actually looping around through that Radiant in that jungle, and just as a 3-man unit, Butterfly Effect won't see them yet, but with that Observer Ward he will. Red Panda has scanned that out, but Butterfly trying to hide it by showing his own body. Arrow, perfect from that Mirana. Felix setting up now, and they have the dodge rebuke to slow him down, and only Beacon will take the first blood for the team. That is a very, very nice start for SAG.
That definitely is. That just slows down the DP a little bit more. Even with these runes, you're not going to get as much in terms of getting additional regen. And again, that helps the Viper take control of that in very early on, a lot faster.
Red Panda's going to run straight into Nevermind on that Pango. Just try to harass him now. Was it you who was actually commenting yesterday, I think it was, to me the Ogre Arcana is kind of garbage.
Yeah, I don't like how it looks. I mean, I like the mount, but there's something about that coloration that just bugs the hell out of me. It's that tacky gold color. I don't know. It's not my jam.
That's fair. He'll be there, God King on that Morphling. Nevermind and Dust will be there to try and contest this lane. Dust shouldn't have the easiest time here on the surge, Jacob, but a nice fish out with a great swashbuckle. He blocks the way, and God King is probably dead. Don't quite get his straight whopping, but they have the damage. Dust gets the final attack off. That is a really nice Fisher block into a swash.
Oh yeah, that is going to really hurt God King starting plus just constantly on the aggressive. They're pumping out a lot of damage, and because you know he's going to have to eat through all this region, but he is buying a lot of space here.
Dust will die. A good pick up there from Red Panda, but it will give a reset over to that Earthshaker. Never mind, I don't think he'll mind too much. He got a really nice kill down to the Morphin to start his day off. Looking at that bot lane while we have a chance, Doodle and Q1, QX are going to be there on the Spectre and Enchantress. OP God and Felix Sharba going to be up against him, and of course OP God with a great old start to his lane on that Mars. First blood, but never mind that top lane. Never mind dies. Red Panda almost dies, but does stay alive. And mid lane, DD ends up killing off Butterfly Effect just so.
Yeah, it's that Viper matchup. You just never have fun, no matter who it is. And the DP, I mean, you got regen with that Siphon, but to use that Siphon, you have to get close, and you really don't want to get close to a Viper. So you got to watch that spacing here for Butterfly Effect. DD, after a wonderful start, not too far in CS, but that kill should boost him up to a very nice point.
It should. Have to be a bit more cautious on IG.Vitality. They've given so many kills away, and we've just started the game. Seems like SAG weren't happy about the way that last game went, so they're going to just get into that really aggressive kind of stance. Every lane you look at, there is a lot of kill potential from SAG. Especially that bot lane, with OP God and Felix. It only takes the speed and arrow, and Doodle's almost guaranteed to die on that Spectre.
You're at the point with OP God with his early ring of health that you can't really trade hits, and ooh, he misses the spear. That was a
mid lane. Dust missed the fish onto DD. He does block off the mid lane. QY and QX gonna go down bot. DD trying to make a run for it on the Viper. Butterfly Effect maybe gonna catch him off guard. No. It's way out of range, but does really have Fever again. The Prophet with the Spirit Siphon and DD. He is falling low and does die. Nice pickup there from Dust and Butterfly.
They do lose Dust's Courier, but that is the bounce back that the DP does need. So the investment is very worthwhile. This gives Butterfly Effect space to clear out a couple of creeps and kind of early rough start you were seeing from the DP and kind of corrects that early advantage of DD. So they will need maybe a few more rotations down the line, and Butterfly Effect will still have to watch that spacing, but DD has to remember he can't overextend with a Shaker in the game.
No, he definitely can't. That bot lane still going decently enough for Doodle. Of course, OP God finding himself ahead on the Mars, but that's pretty standard stuff. Very hard to test Mars, but mid lane Butterfly fell very, very low, but not quite low enough. Red Panda to be the one in trouble. Butterfly will heal himself back before he can walk out, but he wants to go back in onto DD. Viper has gone too far. They will still try for the DP, and Felix is going to be there with the follow-up, but Red Panda should also go down. Still, the Starfall is going to be there. Dust falling low. They're trying to go for the sub, but QY does control the Ogre. It does end up being a 2-for-1 trade. That'll be the second time throughout this lane that both mid laners have died. In fact, never mind the second. That was the third time that that the Death Prophet went down. But I suppose you'd still call that a win, considering he killed DD first.
Slightly better for Butterfly Effect. That does drag a lot of supports down mid, so the side lanes do free up, and that does benefit SAG a bit more. You're seeing God getting off to a spectacular start in the Morph, and Widow's support rotations out. You just can't apply that pressure, and they even go for damage onto Nevermind.
He's in trouble. Well, Swash, he won't need to use it, it'll be just fine. A lot of damage though. Dust, again with the rotation, they do not want this Viper to have the game. All the focus is going to be on DD, and they shut him down so well. Butterfly is going to die though. And that's one of the things with the Viper, right? It's like, even when I'm dead, you're still in danger. And it's just another mid-trade, but it seems as though IG.Vitality are okay with trading like this.
Yeah, they really are just focused on denying that early snowball the Viper can find, and you know, they're doing a decent job there. All these rotations still buy space for Doodle to try to farm up. It's not as amazing as God King, but he's doing his best to put up against the Mars, and they can make a move here.
Now OP going to be in trouble. They have the damage output. Well, he's not really falling that low. He's very tanky once that shield is up, and Felix just going in. QY going back onto OP. Spectral Dagger still not enough. He'll survive, and QY will be the one to die. It's a tanky
a lot. He really is, and Felix just coming out with 3 kills in this laning phase so far. A lot of impact early on from the Mirana, and they just can't trade with God. And he's got that Soul Ring, he's got the Ring of Health. He is just way too tanky on the Mars where we're at level 5. You can't really afford to jump like that. You'd rather focus maybe on a rotation onto God King. I'd say that's a lot more value if you do find that Morris. He's already got his Morbid Mask, so he can just free farm now if you just leave him alone. You need to stop that Morphling from getting big.
You do. This is the kind of game we're used to seeing King in. Like, he is so much further ahead in CS than anyone else. This is what you want to see from SAG. Even if DD's being shut down on that Viper and may become somewhat useless on this hero later on, at least you have more to fall back to. So IG, I mean, they may feel the need to try and pressure on King a bit more than this, but for now they just left him. But Rolling Thunder is going to come out. He's strength walking already. They'll haunt him as well. It is not going to be anywhere near enough. Wasn't it even close?
Butterfly?
They're going to DD, but Butterfly is getting quite low. He is still healing up. Red Panda may have gone too far. He'll turn back around now, and QY will get the kill, but look at Felix just jumping and sniping the Death Prophet. But now can he get out? Probably not, as he is being controlled up. Moonlight Shadow is there. Can they get another attack off? Sentry's being dropped, and they will get it. The absolute panic in this mid lane, trying to just get any kill they can get, and it is a 1-for-3 trade again the way of IGV.
Yeah, they do win out in that sense, but that is the exorcism gone from your DP, so SAG do stop a potential push. And we talked about the timers IGV play around. If they don't get those tower kills, then the DP's impact just doesn't feel as big as it could be.
The Mine really trying to play around here with God King. You do deny off his courier, so he'll lose his treads for at least a minute and a half. And you can slowly start to see an IGP wanting to really apply some pressure here up that top lane. It might be too late. In fact, Nevermind's gonna die because Felix makes another great rotation on the Mirana. Now Q1 will show himself on the Enchantress, but there's nothing he can do by himself. Make a run to the mid lane where they play onto DD again. They committed the Echo. DD will die. Butterfly is trapped in the arena. Can he get himself out of this one? The Cypher is there. OP can't actually finish off the kill. Now with the impact, they might turn this one around. OP is still trying to fight back as Felix is coming in. Arrow is blocked up from QY, but it's not going to be enough to save the Death Prophet as now he's on the run. Never mind, he'll TP into the Pango. Back on Red Panther, and this Ogre is going to go down. This mid lane, it's just an absolute bloodbath.
Oh, yeah, it really is. They all to shut down a Viper, and while DD is still not having a great game here in game number 2, he's so behind in farm. He's about 500 gold behind that DP, so that investment's worthwhile. God King though,
he's alright. He'll just waveform out of it.
And that's
the
really
thing. Like, I don't know if shutting down DD should be the main priority anymore. Like,
No.
he's died 5 times. Thing is, you're also letting Butterfly Effect die, and he's died 6 times this game. So neither of them has been able to farm. And I said you didn't need much farm on the TP to be effective. You want at least to lose or something, which is what he's trying to get. But like, you can't really even get to that yet.
I think the big thing is they need to find the towers with this DP. They've got the exorcism up once more. They could try for that mid-tier 1 push, and they will.
Red Panda is going to be there with the blood lost in the tower. Yeah, it's attacking quite fast.
Oh, no.
Now TP in from the Mars Butterfly, feeling like he needs to get out of there. Fisher out from Dust. Another Fire Blast onto QY. Up the Moonlight Shadow and just trying to scare them back. It'll be enough. Just the invis out from SAG is just a bit too scary to go into.
Radiant's top tower has
Well, while
fallen.
that was happening, God King just takes a free tower. He's going straight for that shotgun build to boot, and it's not going to take that long to get it if he keeps up.
Oh no, he's just had way too much free farm here. They commit to heroes up top once more, but they just don't have the hope to really keep God King in place, so they're just not finding it. And you could argue that you're getting farm on Doodles. Well, it's not fast. The Spectre just doesn't clear the camps as fast as a Morphling does.
Oh, it is a very, very slow process. Doodle is trying his best, but I mean, he's got treads and a soul ring up. Basically, it's nothing too flashy. He hasn't queued up his next item yet, but I imagine he might have to do something apart from that Radiance Rush we're used to seeing. It's with the farm that you're getting in this morph, you're definitely going to have to fight a lot earlier on than you would like to as a Spectre.
It's getting tricky for RGV. They haven't really hit their timings with the spell usage. Like, we haven't seen a successful push off the back of an exorcism just yet. Looks like they do have space to clear out that top tier one in exchange, but you look down mid, SAG is going for the bigger tower.
Yeah, it's not the trade you want to go for. Able to TP back into the mid lane in time to be able to defend this. And we do see the first couple TPs coming in fact making 3. Dust is going to be there up first. He doesn't quite have the blink yet. Doesn't have the echo. They'll get the T1 up and they will protect the mid T1. In fact, in about 15 seconds, Butterfly Effect is going to have the exorcism back up, so they could try to make a play into the opposing Tier 1 tower if they so wish.
Yeah, that's going to be really important. They do need the numbers to ensure that, like, it's not much HP left in that Tier 1, just about 400 HP. But you know, SAG's going to drag everyone in. They're going to have OP God ready to go. He's just very tanky in that Mars. You need to synchronize the use of that haunt and the exorcism to a successful attack, and they do smoke up.
They have. Red Panda can break the smoke of Dust. Moonlight Shadow will make it much harder to go into this team fight. You see Red Panda immediately just get the bloodlust on the tower towards the sentry that was placed by QY. You're at least gonna have to wait out the Moonlight Shadow. I'd say that, but Dust is being a little bit anxious. They jump in with the echo. Arrow flying doesn't really connect on anyone. There goes OP God. Now the roll in after Red Panda. That Ogre should be good as dead. Trying to make a run for it, but they do have enough. Never mind on the Pangolier. And now that T1 mid chatbot is definitely going the way of IG.Vitality.
That's going to be an important tower to take that should allow them to reach into that jungle if they wanted to. The biggest issue here is that despite that tower kill, God King still has free space. He's already got the Eagle Song up, so he only lacks Ghost Scepter before he can start blowing a couple of these supports out.
Pretty soon. Done. IG, I mean, it's still in a nice position, right? Like, you've still got a bit more map control on this Radiant side. It is mostly the Spectre farm that is going to be concerning here, and especially if he gets killed off, because SAG are coming in with the smoke. Yule's going to be there with the Arena and Arrow also being thrown out at the same time. They really want this kill, and they will be able to get it. No help around to try and help out Doodle. And now it looks like they're going to try and set up for this mid-tier 1 tower.
Yeah, it's gonna be an important objective to take. They should drag attention away from God King as well, so big opening.
Speed up. Arrow flying through, also connecting to flying through. Now God King is also going to join in. Butterfly, how do you get out of this one? As the haste trigger, he's taking a lot of damage. Still nice rolling thunder out from Nevermind. Does get the kill on the Mirana. What in some way, killing off the Mirana may have stopped this mid push really occurring, but not really. God King is still going for an IG.V. No, they're not going to be. They're not going to be in range to be able to deny that tower or defend it. So time to battle for IG.V, and I can't quite blame them for not going for that defense attempt, as you still are lacking that blink on Dance. It's just so close, but never mind. Oh, the swashbuckle a bit too late. Additionally connecting on King. Butterfly, I mean, he can chase him down the siphon, but he's going to be just perfectly fine. And now Butterfly could be dead if they can get in range for the stun, but they can't. And as that was happening, John, the Earthshaker does not have the blinker.
That's an important timer for IG.V. Allows them to play a lot more aggressive when they have the exorcism in Haunt. They just need to find the opening with Dust, and he can set the pace. So it should allow IG.V to play a little bit more aggressive. You've also got Butterfly effects Yules up, so the first bolts to chain into the stun, you can just immediately Yules afterwards to dodge it out, and gives you a bit more opening. You smoke up.
They do it. They run straight down towards God in that bot lane. Red Panda is going to be there to cancel off that smoke, and he'll tank the thing for his team. It's going to be a bit unfortunate for IG.Vs. You would have really liked to go after the Morphling rather than that Ogre, but they have to settle for the Ogre instead. And now it's just back to farming. You're just still too far behind in net worth to be able to really do anything here for the side of IG.V. Even with that blink up, but maybe with the Spirit Vessel now, it would be a bit different. I'm guessing he blew someone up with that shotgun. Top lane. No, they're not going to initiate. Just Felix there, or rather Dust there, to make sure that the Spectre does not die.
Oh yeah, this is going to be an issue now. God King E-Blade had 17 minutes in. I mean, he's just going to blow all that back line out. You're not safe, and he's going straight for the BKB as well in this morph. He's going to have a defensive tool afterwards. You just won't have control for this Morphling, and it's just going to be much more tricky for IG.V if they do manage to give that space to God King. So they've got to find a way to shut this morph out now.
Okay. Looks like they are not going to go after the Enchantress kill. I don't really know if you can slow down God King anymore. He just seems too far ahead now. Like, he's literally at 11k net worth almost, and wave form, he's got the ghost form with that ethereal blade. It just seems very, very difficult to be able to catch him out.
Trust.
It could be an jump. Arrow gonna fly through. All was committed, and that's gonna make it so they do not chase any further onto SAG. Looks like Judah was just trying to scout out who was behind those two, and apparently there was too many of them to try and help out.
That's another big spell being used out from IG.V, so you're not going to have a pot from a Spectre for a very long time. And that does mean SAG, if they play aggressive now, they won't have to really worry about the Spectre just popping in. Of course, this is spaced just up quite nicely by SAG. God King is just about just a bit of gold away from the Mithril Hammer, about halfway there into the BKB. So once he has that, again, Morphling becomes a massive issue to hold down, and IG.V, they still need to find a solution to that. Like, we've stalled out on Doodle's development. He does have a Yasha, but he needs a man to defuse below Nevermind.
He's thinking about it, but now Red Panda gonna go in and find get used up. A nice easy game, but Echo coming in from Dust. It does get the kill on the ball. Nice Echo being committed there from this Earthshaker. You'll still lose Nevermind, but that's that Morphling kill we were looking for. IG morphed into an Echo is going to be a problem.
Yeah, that is a really good move from Dust. Just having the patience to turn that around, and SAG a bit too keen to clump up. Gotta remember the power of that shaker as they do find some punishment back. This will slightly stall out the development of that BKB, although not by much. Just about 400 gold left. Wouldn't take too long, and QY?
He's alright. The thing about turning around now, OP. We find just get out of range of butterfly effect. There's that man top down that Spectre that we've been waiting on. So Doodle still doesn't really have the capability to fight very well. Just with that Manta alone. I guess it kind of speeds up his farm a little bit. It's still going to mean SAG are more than happy to continue this aggression and continue dominating this map. Just going to have to try and remain in that Radiant side triangle for now and just be safe.
Yeah, this is going to open up that bot lane push for SAG. I believe that's the BKB got coming out as well. It's going to be harder to catch him out as long as he's much more conscious about his strength. And they do force that fortify out. They don't have DD around though. So if they do get swarmed, that's a 4v5 situation.
They're going to go for the Roshan play. IG.V, they're going to keep that T2 tower away and take what they can get. It was scanned out by SAG. With that exorcism being popped, it may be just too quick for SAG to really reach there in time, and they pretty much shadowed up, but it is going to be way too late. Doodle, he does take the Aegis, put a great arrow out, does catch Nevermind. His shot is going to be there to delay things, but they leave the Penguins behind. Swashbuckle away, there's the arena. Spear will hit that Steals, and Nevermind, he should still be dead, but he's going to make a roll. And he is rolling away with the TP. Is it going to be enough? Oh! He hits Crystal, he pings him up. He don't want to turn around like that.
Oh no, that is very unfortunate for IGV. They still do get away with the Aegis though, and that is a pretty nice win for them. So they've got a little bit more leeway on tossing Doodle in the front. Overall, that's still a worthwhile trade for them to get some breathing space here. But they have to be a bit cautious now. They don't have their Pango up for a bit. They don't have the exorcism to fight with. You're gonna have to just temper out that aggression for a while. That should give SAG maybe a couple of openings to at least chip through that tier 2 a bit.
That's exactly what they'll do. The T2 is basically dead. I mean, they're not really here to defend this at all. I mean, SAG, they know they're not interested in fighting right now. Not without exorcism, not without some more farm on the Spectre. I mean, by the time you get that Diffusal Blade now, like, God King's probably going to be close enough that I have Skadi. Even with that Diffusal, you question how effective it's going to be. We're almost 25 minutes into the game. Top lane. We have a nice setup here for an Echo, but he's going to need some help. Land a big Echo here with this creep wave from God King. It could mean a kill. Gonna try and no, he's gonna TV back towards the tier 2. Okay. Arena. Be out. They have the DP. Echo being committed onto that mortal, but doesn't really do too much. BKB up, going into that DP butterfly effect, just trying to run away. Fires will be down. Both teams are looking for another way back into this fight. God King is falling quite low with that Spirit Vessel, but so is its Spectre, and they do get the Aegis. Now the Victor up and up, back into that morph. God King is very, very low. That Spirit Vessel doing a lot of work, but can they get enough damage out? It looks like they can. The rest of SAG do back up. And IGV, it's not really that bad of a trade. They get the buyback from the Oak. It's still a 2 for 2. And really all you lost there was the Aegis on the Spectre.
It's still a big win there for IGV because open them up to maybe forcing another fight. They know that the Morphlink's not quite big enough to fight into all the heroes you have, although they still look to punish here.
And Butterfly is going to try to just run away. Arrow is slowly flying through. The butterfly will juke that out. Dust mixing it in there to help, but this Death Prophet may just be as good as dead. They're trying to get him in. BKB now with the Spirit Siphons again, and that will be enough. He had a nice little regen room bottled up, so they can actually turn this. Dust is trying to bait them in with the fish around, but it's not really bait if you're not willing to go back to the fight, or maybe they are. Rolling Thunder is going to be there onto Felix with the silence, but it's not going to be quite enough. Never mind, it's just going to try and roll his way out of this situation. OP God with the arena though, does get up at a nice fish around from Dust. It is not going to be enough. This Pando is definitely dead. And now even QY getting caught out. It's Enchantress. Nice body blocks out from Felix. Will go down to OP God.
Ooh, that's a lot straight away from IGV. What was an opening for them has kind of been chipped away. SAG managing to plug the holes that they let out earlier on, and they're still looking to be aggressive. They moonlight up. They want to intercept up top onto Doodle.
That's the kill you want. Does have the diffusal off going into that Eye of Scardy next, and they will be able to TP away in time. And I'm gonna say, John, if Doodle does get that Eye of Scardy up, I think God King's in serious trouble at that point. Because then you've got so many ways of getting through the Strength Ball. And that Spectre may prove to be way too tanky once those added stats are there from an Eye of Scardy.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot to eat through here for SAG. They haven't really gotten the number on Doodle this entire game. Like, besides that Aegis kill, they've only killed once. So it's been a while since Doodle's shown up in a vulnerable spot. That's going to really pay off. Now, you would really like to hit the level 20 mark on Doodle to really guarantee that tankiness, but the Scotty should still give you a lot to play with. And they do have the Rotten Exorcism up, so they smoke up.
Alright. See if they can get a nice initiation. That mid wave is being pushed in, and it does make it somewhat obvious that QY will take care of it with the enchant. They're gonna run up towards the Maya jungle, but nobody from SAG is around there. They're currently just stuck in their own triangle, just trying to stay safe on their side of things. Especially considering God King is so close to having that Eye of Scardy up now. And IGV realize they're not going to get killed, but they will maintain this jungle control. And got from SAG, but it's the exact same story. Nobody's there.
This time bot out is helping IGV a bit more, as they are saving up, right? Like, you might be close to it for God King, but this is giving some breathing room towards IGV. I mean, they still need a lot of EXP. That's one place where Doodle has fallen a lot more behind compared to God King. God King's at his level 20 mark. Doodle still has to hit level 18 even. So again, just giving this slight bit of space, may not be much, but still some more breathing room to help IGV close that gap out a bit better.
Dire's top tower.
That Eye of Scardy on God King. They'd love to go for a team fight right now with that new item pickup. Nice little scouting arrow out from the Mirana now. Felix knowing exactly where they are.
Structures are fortified.
Yes, they still just gonna bide their time, giving Giddy the space to go for that BKB, as now SAG are gonna apply more pressure into that mid lane. Doodle will happily take that buff. And looks like IGV will take the chance now to go after that top tower. You don't really need the exorcism at this point of the game to take it. Just need a creep wave, and SAG not going to be in position to try and defend it either. So this is going to be a nice little feature to being taken. It doesn't quite give IGV much control, but gets them a bit more gold. Now they may jump onto Red Panda, but never mind, thinks better of it, does back off.
Just really cautious from both sides, waiting out these key item pickups. Also seeing the tying up of this tier 3, so getting a little bit more there. Doesn't look like IGV has fully utilized those tier 3s, except for that Paladin Sword on Doodle. Pull got that cracky coat around and great fairy fire into spider legs. Just not being swapped out yet, which might cause some issues, although they do get a nice free courier. So.
Red Panda just scouting out with that courier. Now the Moonlight lights out. OP body has a BKB up going to get the dust, but he wants a big arena, but no, they can't They go off to it with the rolling thunder in the background. Still surviving, gets the arena off. Is it going to be enough to survive? It is. He will walk out there with 60 HP, but no, never mind. He does get the kill, but now he dies. So both Pos 3's going down. I want the try to go off because this is a dangerous kill to go for. If the fish off, they might purpose on him. He will get the BKB in time. Now back onto Dust. They get the Earth Shaker. Butterfly effect still going with that S, but he is falling very, very low now with that Iron Scardy passive being thrown out of the DP. He will down. Now Duda trying to man fight by himself. QY will come in, but I don't believe they have enough damage left. He will die in the Spectre, and so QY. It's going to be a complete team wipe of IG.Vitality and SAG. Unfortunately for them, the Roshan's still a minute and 10 seconds away, but they can go to the high ground plane and at least try and force some buybacks.
Yeah, it's a massive win for SAG. That commitment on the slam really cost them. They had no follow-up afterwards. They do clear out the Mars, but he drops the arena anyway. You really need Shaker to lock out that morph. That's how they win these fights. By catching God King before he can shift, we don't get that done. It's just, he is just way too tanky. Like 1.5k HP with 46 armor is a lot to try to burn through. And you just don't have enough on your spec to really get that done. So you really do need to immediately commit on morph, and it does cost IGV heavily there. They do manage to sit through and get the respawns up. SAG not finding that opening with any objectives, but they widen SAG. 12k advantage now. You've got the BKB up and running on DD, so the Viper can just stand and fight a lot more confidently now as well. And you're just slowly but surely giving yourself a lot more to play with compared to IGV. And they've kind of missed the mark. They're going to wait for that next exorcism first. They do have the BKB on Dust. There's more leeway for the Shaker to wait out for the Echo Slam. And they really do need that patience from Dust to make an appearance once more.
They do. They're going to smoke up. It's the Roshan that's up now. He's scouted by IGV. SAG trying to scout out that high grip. He needs to be a great target. He's jumping with the Echo, just trying to burst it down, but he gets the BKB off in time. And now the arrow connecting on the Spectre, so he can't really follow up. IGV, they need to get out of here. This is a really bad team fight. The spear comes in, connecting on that Viper, and this little rub the DP is looking really, really bad, as they're going to lose a 2 for nothing. And to make matters worse, SAG know the Roshan's there, and that's exactly where it needs to go.
Yeah, that's such a big win for SAG. They get the Roche, they force out the exorcism and Haunt. So those big timers for IGV, they're not going to have it for the next fight. It's for the next month and a half, and that's just such a massive win. Now you have to fight into the Aegis and the Cheese on SAG's side. You just don't have enough damage at this point to take care of God King.
Not for the Aegis Cheese. I mean, you're going to have the Satanic up in just a moment. He just needs a couple more creep waves for that. And, well, he's going to go high ground first. He'll probably at least get the T3 tower and maybe get a buyback out of this. Spear. He wanted to go for the spear back on the Pango. Doesn't quite get it. Arrow won't land. They're just trying to buy some more time with that cliff. He's doing as much as you'd hope. That's that tier 3 tower gone. SAG not willing to back off yet. They want to keep going. They understand how far ahead they are. This more thing is still somewhat uncontrollable as they do up that advance. And you know, it might just be time to maybe not back off. They've got the Satanic up now, so Conti wants to keep going. Why not?
Yeah. Not enough to stop him.
Butterfly, he's just, he pops his BKB, but he's falling so low. The Mimic will save him.
Radiant's bottom.
And there's like energy, they're happily gonna take that bottom racks as well. Moonlight Shadow well. How do you initiate on this team now? Well, you don't. Oh no. The arrow does connect on the Spectre, but the speed does not, so should be able to get it down before the BKB goes for the man fight. He does haunt out back off DD. That Piper falling somewhat low, but not anywhere near low enough. SAD will just chase down Dust. Dust is gone. This game may just be over now. They just have way too much damage, way too much harm. One last team fight. Nevermind goes in with the Rolling Thunder. They'll try and fight near their fountain. Exorcism popped as well. God King is falling low, but he still has the Aegis. They just want that first light bomb. Going back onto that Orwing, he's still not dying. They'll turn around now. He got with a huge God's rebuke, and now they jump in straight up to that Spectre. The Viper controlling him up, and this is it. Doodle's down. No buybacks available. They're still trying. Arrow flying through the rocket on Pangolier. Nevermind's gone. DY going. McCann get to his fountain. Now the DP. The final one left, and it will be a full team wipeout for SAG. And the second game, SAG, they can't make it look easy.
Yeah, this is the performance we were looking for from SAG in Game 1. It does come out here. You managed to get a very convincing victory over IG.
$1,500 gold. He actually is going to go straight into the pipe here, opting to tank up even more.
Rolling boulder from Zep misses again, but there's the best bomb, and this time Ohio's in trouble. Roar will come out, they have the magnetize, they get off the silence as well, and Ohio will get right-click down. The exorcism will go from Mushi, doing a decent amount of damage to that aggressive. The Borislow comes through, he has no infest, he has the armlet toggle, needs to be careful, the Spirit Siphon coming out, the glimpse back onto aggressive, gets him back in there. They get the Grave off in time though, the open wounds will come through, they have the kinetic shield. There's the black hole, from the long ground, on to 3! Zep and Blaz and Amoy are gonna get chewed down. 3 dead. Mushi gets a double kill. DJ, are you kidding me, from the low ground?
DJ, God, the crowd here just goes insane as he hits the black hole of his life. And likely could just give this one up. The vision advantage with the Hawk does help. But nope, they're ready. They've actually got a smoke. They can bypass the Hawk with this, but
there's no way they take this in time. Fnatic need to get out. Mushi is going to be stunned by the boulder smash. They're going to come through. Showit looking for a Ravage. Can't find it. Mushi pops the BKB early. Aggressive blinks in. Pops the Rage as well. Still has his BKB ready to go. They really want to contest this and take it down as quickly as possible. They get the refresher for Ohio. It's coming out. Double Roar is ready. Can they find a kill off of this? Maybe he's walking up with the Silver Edge. Ohio's going to get caught first. Ravage catches onto 2. Black Hole counter initiation. Static Storm on top. Aggressive is low. They get off the Static Storm. Showit pops the refresher. It's not enough. Maybe he's getting chewed through by mid 1. They get off the Roar. They'll lose 2. They'll lose 3. They buy back on the Tide. He's got another Ravage. They have no buyback on Maybe. What an initiation from DJ.
Secures another kill, and Tongfu is going to continue to push. They're not done. Mech still hasn't even been used. There's a hook. Hal brought all the way back to the base. Cleaned up by the fountain. And waddles his way back to the front lines.
Well, like I said, it does waste time, but they kind of need it. I mean, they need to be able to just eliminate somebody from the fight, very similar to what Mu can do for Tongfu. So if he had been a little bit farther up, he would have been able to throw the hook, but the thing is there was a range creep in the way. There it is, yep.
Banana going for a ride on the Dindy Express. Welcome to the well. Aegis goes to Tongfu. And now charging back out. Dindy gonna be spotted, and he doomed to Chen. That's a much better choice. Oh, he got him! He got him! Not gonna follow it all the way because we got a battle to watch with Puppy. Trying to get away from it, gonna be telekinesed back. And they will be able to get him as well. There you so a 1-for-1 trade. And wow, Hal is still alive down there. Engagement breakout as Kuro. Oh, there we go. The hook, got him! Zhan Xing taking the long ride to Shanghai. Welcome home. Navi down. Can you say mega creeps? Navi, he got him. One more. This is what you call one for the road.
Man, I can't.
the game for IG. Who leads the way? I believe it should be Zoe. They're going to cut for the shorter path. They storm up the river. Patience from Zoe. Waiting in the wings. Navi's about to be caught. Oh, there's the sleep. The surge. He catches everyone. Oh, this could be a total disaster. Vacuum in. Ravage on everyone. The black hole as well. Light of heaven turns it around. Ravage as well. Stolen by Dandy. Are you kidding me? They turn it around. 4 heroes dead.
5 heroes dead. Chuan trying to survive. Chuan's gonna go down. Puppy talked about the Naga counter. It's light of heaven with his BKB. They turn it around. I don't even know how they're gonna do it. Standing ovation from the crowd. The last tower will be going down.
Start the fight with that global and just try to blow up and get on top of that Zeus right away. Get into that backline. I mean, the Rubik and the Zeus are really starting to be quite an issue for them.
Chalice is in with the opener, straight in with the lasso. The tower will fall, but they'll drag back the Ember Spirit into the torrent, cut him down with the Tidebringer. He's dead, but on the side, they find Arme. Arme's dead for 60. Still alive at the moment. Oh, the use! The dodge! Anna up into the end, dodging the Echo Slam. Somnus, he's trapped here in the Sprout. OG, they'll slowly punch down the Kuka. The stolen Vintage Jerax sets up onto FY. OG!
But this PL will continue just to BT split push this game out, get more and more money. And that, for me, is still the biggest problem for Evil Geniuses. Where do you go with this? Fear needs to have that damage-dealing item. But in order to do so, he's got to drop either his TP scroll or sell the Ring of Aquila. And Samel, blink, Dragon Tail stun. Garda's going to be here with the hookshot as well. Laguna bites Samel. The Cogs Burn bought them a little bit of extra time. And with Samel down and no buyback, Roshan is a very, very juicy target here for CDEC.
Yeah, EG are going to know they're going for it, though. First of all, it would be pretty obvious from the lane situation, but they also have a good ward around the river area to see that CDEC are moving in there now. I don't think EG are interested in contesting this 4-on-5, but maybe they can delay it long enough for it to be a 5-on-5 if they Ice Blast and Fissure properly. There is no hook shot.
They're all together. PPD, here comes the Ice Blast, ready for the dodge! In from Universe! It's a disaster! CDEC! They're gonna get wiped from the face of the earth, apart from aggressive. He'll jump out, but the Wombo combo perfectly hits from Evil Geniuses, and now they will take Roshan. Samel is back, they'll get the egg into the Immortal.
OG right behind Arme. Gets the jump, finds the Pugner. Vision will not find a stun. Pugner with no buyback. OG, they were really playing with fire. The Hex down the Terrorblade. Spectral Haunt looking for the frontline attack, but that's why Somnus goes into the backline. The BKB, they're into the backline. Shaker, he's bouncing around. Hawk shot, she stuns on the way through. ES is gone. No buybacks available. Have LGD done it? They're holding Anna. Hold him in place. Chalice will find the damage. F5 will die for it. No, really? Anna is actually running away, but it won't stop Arme from blinking up, looking for the tier 3 tower. 2 players left alive for OG. They're the big ones, however. Thompson and Anna on the defense duty. Fortification. It's delayed as much as they possibly can. And now the jump out. Hex, the boy in the bubble. Thompson able to be protected once again. Chalice very, very low on mana. They have a lot, but Arme, he'll change the life with Anna. Thompson needs to be pushed away. Able to do so. FY jumps onto the illusion only, so the hookshot won't be able to connect. But Anna, he needs to retreat. There's so much damage. Anna down. Buyback is available. They still have not taken the mid racks. OG are just trying to delay LGD for the moment. 5 heroes around. The bubble is there protecting the melee racks. Anna, Sunder! Once again, the Sunder switches to life. Arme's back up to full health, but the damage from Thompson, it's good enough to kill off the bait. Buyback is there. Somnus leads forward. They just keep bunching them around, but they're still battling from inside the bubble. Pugner will come to the world living LGD. They're going for the GG push. They're going up the tier 4 towers. OG, they have to hold the line. They have the numbers. 7 from the side with the Dagon Arme, but no! Sunder is back up. It is there. Chalice will fall. They lose the Enchantress. FY pushing around Anna. He's so low. Can they get the die back on him? You bet your Nelly they can. Arme still very, very low. The blast will kill him off. But buyback. LGD want this now. LGD, or can they? Backing up? No, they're not. Terrorblade. BT's forward. The ball is up. Thompson needs to defend. X-Nova very visible. You've got a very, very low life Marana. But OG, they can't find the target. X-Nova, he's got the grip. He's got the control. He's got the kill. Thompson is down, but ES is up. Where the Echo Slam.
Oh, there it is.
Forward. There's your slam. There's the dunk. There's the play. Jirax, the savior of OG.
1500 gold. He actually is going to go straight into the pipe here, opting to tank up even more.
Rolling boulder from
Another-
Zep misses again, but there's the invest bomb, and this time Ohio's in trouble. Roar will come out, they have the magnetize, they get off the silence as well, and Ohio will get right click down. The exorcism will go from Mushi, doing a decent amount of damage to that aggressive. The Borslow comes through, he has no infest, he has the armlet toggle, needs to be careful, the Spirit Siphon coming out, the glimpse back onto aggressive, gets him back in there. They get the Grave off in time though, the open wounds will come through, they have the kinetic shield. There's the black hole, from the low ground, on to 3, Zep as well as NM1 are gonna get chewed down, 3 dead, Mushi gets a double kill. DJ, are you kidding me, from the low ground?
DJ, God, the crowd here just goes insane as he hits the black hole of his life. And likely could just give this one up. The vision advantage with the Hawk does help. But nope, they're ready. They've actually got a smoke. They can bypass the Hawk with this, but
there's no way they take this in time. Fnatic need to get out. Mushi is going to be stunned by the boulder smash. They're going to come through. Showit looking for Ravage. Can't find it. Mushi pops the BKB early. Aggressive blinks in. Pops the rage as well. Still has his BKB ready to go. They really want to...
Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Dire team pick. Radiant
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are here for game number 3 of this best of 3 series between IG.Vitality and Spark Gaming. It is MLB Dota and Johnny. It's fine. John, welcome back, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing. We've finally saw the SAG performance we were looking for 2 days here in the DPL-CDA. They do show up. They had a spectacular time securing that farm. King ramp up with DD. Great time in the Viper, which didn't start game 1. And IGV, they tried to play the long game with the Spectre. It doesn't quite work out from the aggression that SAG brings out. So will they bring out this time? They still need a series win in DPL-CDA. And SAG, after that game 2, they're not going to make it easy here in game number 3.
No, they're not. They go for the first pick Venge here for SAG, and I've got to say, like, regarding that Spectre position 1, like, it still seems like a very strong kind of carry to have, but there's just people haven't really figured out what kind of farming tool to use yet, right? Like, you saw going for that Soul Ring board that we're used to seeing out of Spectre very, very often enough, and it just doesn't allow you to snowball out of control. Like, you need something else. The whole reason the Spectre was so popular in the first place is because the book was broken. But now it's not so broken. So you need something else to replace it with, because Spectre just is slower than any other carry right now, especially Terrorblade. If God King's playing Terrorblade, I would dare say you probably shouldn't choose Spectre.
Oh yeah, and I love that SAG managed to grab the Venge first with that. So the aura you get with the Terrorblade around, I mean, it's just so much value there. IGV, they get that Mirana-Mars combination we've seen a ton of, so you've got a lot of control here early on. Do you have a decent way of maybe melting those Terrorblade illusions at the least with Mars and Mirana? And the laning phase can be a bit better if they play their cards right. Just watch out for the Metamorphosis, but outside the Mars should have a decent time trying to bully out God King. It's still concerning, and this is a God King special that makes a very early appearance.
Does. And this is generally around that time where they do pick it up. Like, they always have that second pick Terrorblade, as you won't really ban it out in the first phase unless you feel like you need to. And IG.Vitality, they have really been focused in on banning out that clock task every single game. So the TB does make an appearance. It is very early, so IGV should understand what they have to do against this Terrorblade. And the general idea behind this is farm. It's as really simple as that, right? Like, it's just get a very early kind of draft where you don't really have to sit in lane for 2 hours. You just get heroes that can rotate around the map constantly, hunting him down and giving your own position 1 space. So you've essentially got to do a 4 protect 1 with your own draft, but a 4 protect 1 that actually fight very, very early.
Yeah, that's what IGV has to find. I mean, we saw it in game 1, right? Where God King, he wasn't number 1 in terms of net worth from the laning phase. He was kind of forced to fight early. If you can throw him off from his usual farming patterns, it seemed to be a business for SAG. Like, when he doesn't get space, there's just no impact. So that is one way for IGV to get that done. And they've done it before. If they can just pull that out again,
10 seconds
I
remaining.
think that's really decent there. There are some pretty decent heroes you go back into as well. And I wouldn't mind if IGV just decided to go for something like the Viper down, or if they're allowed to just have that lane dominance over DD. That's another key thing IGV has to watch out for. If DD gets a good start, then SAG can definitely buy that space out for God King.
That they
10
can.
seconds remaining.
We are seeing the bans now coming out in the second phase. Of course, the Witch Doctor is removed by IG.Vitality, and SAG, rather interesting bans. They get rid of the Jakiro to remove the Arc Warden. So no one can play the long game with an Arc Warden, even if you have that Terrorblade, which is really fair enough. That hero is just too painful to deal with if you do give it that much space. And they'll also ban up the Lycan, so just not wanting to be rushed down by the side of IG.Vitality with some kind of Zeus strat, which is a very viable way of beating this Terrorblade from God King. So just ignoring them altogether and trying to make it one of those games where you can't really finish the game fast enough to the point where God King can just snowball out of control.
Yeah, just preventing that quick pace, and you do have some options from IGV if they did want to go see that early control. Maybe you look at the Beastmaster. We've seen that slide through a couple drafts. It is tricky to draft that in. You'd have to throw it mid now, unless you run Mars mid, but it's still somewhat viable. It's surprisingly enough, IGV, they banned the Viper. They have first pick here. Could have gone for it themselves, but they don't want to give that tool towards SAG. I guess that's fair enough if they don't want to run it, but I just feel like that momentum you get from a Viper has thrown SAG for a spin before.
10 seconds.
It has. The IG.Vitality just not wanting to deal with it or playing this game. And I want to face it with. For now, it's back to Ogre. Marana, Ogre, and Mars up for IG.Vitality. They do seem to enjoy running this quite a bit.
Radiant team pick.
I don't think they'll be too concerned about that Ogre, and they'll go into a Disruptor now. Which is quite intriguing, because we don't see this so often from SAG, this Disruptor pickup, but it can be quite impactful if in the right hands.
Yeah, we've seen this before where, you know, if you can land your spells, if you get the big static storms, you manage to always get that glimpse back. It's just such a strong hero. If you don't manage to chain that, if you say get jumped first, you're forced to static storm on ideally, you don't catch people with the kinetic field, the hero falls flat. So it's all about making that aggression work. You have to be the one setting up, or at least not get blown up first on the Disruptor. That's something SAG has to be pretty disciplined about. They still need to tie that up a bit more. They don't quite have any team fight to build off the back of this Disruptor, so I would like to see it come out. It's just a bit flat in terms of just solely depending on the Disruptor to set the 5v5s up.
Faceless Void. Oh, Void comes out now from IG.Vitality. Now that's interesting. Considering that, I mean, it's a great tool for TB in the sense where you can just chrono the TB. Whether you have enough damage through the chrono is where it gets a little bit confusing now, right? Because the Terrorblade, extremely high armor. I know we're probably going to see the Void go into a Maelstrom, so you'll have that magic damage output from the Void to try and get through the HP of that Terrorblade. But if you don't land the Chrono onto God King every time and he has Metamorphosis up, that Chrono means nothing. In fact, you'll have to get out of the Chrono to escape.
Yeah, I'd say not just that, you're picking a Void into the Venge. That's already a really strong counter to that Chrono. You've got the swap to play with. So you have to ensure that you catch the Venge, the TP, even the Disruptor. Because if the Disruptor's there, you could just play with Glimpse, maybe play with Kinetic Field, or even just drop the Static Storm there to stop you from really getting value. And there's just a lot to worry about there from IGV in terms of landing that spell. Now, you do have the Ogre kind of give you that steroid, right? Like, you've got the Bloodlust to speed up your attack. And in the early portion of the game, when you first hit 6, this Void should be highly effective. It's just that scaling up that does kind of bring a bit of a spanner in the works with what SAG has. They do pick up the Queen of Pain as well, giving DD a bit of his specialty hero, and he doesn't have to worry about that Viper matchup. A smoother ramp up for that quad mid here.
I'd say so. I'm surprised the quad made it this far into the draft. I just assumed it must have been banned out. So we see the final ban now before we get to see how they close these drafts off. IG.Vitality, they got rid of the Earthshaker. SAG and out Lena, and now the Zeus. So really just wanting to secure that mid lane for DD for once. He had a rough time in this whole series altogether. And IG.Vitality, well, their final ban.
10 seconds remaining.
I believe they just look to ban out some kind of position 3 or a position 4, depending on where you believe that Venge is going to go.
Still looking for something from SAG to tie up their team fight. I'd say Avenge 4 isn't too bad in this case if they do close out with the OP God hero. Maybe a bit more of a disruptive offlaner. You know the Faceless Void matchup already. You could look for something to abuse that. Laning phase, of course. Dependency on that time walk can be a bit tricky for the Void to play with. So maybe something like a Venom would be nice. They close out with a Void Spirit. Alright. That's an interesting one. It's flexible. Like the Queen of Pain mid or off, Void Spirit mid or off now for SAG, giving them a lot of options. IGV, even if they pick something that's a win the match against one of these two heroes, SAG could just switch lanes.
5 seconds remaining.
Vitality, how are they going to deal with it? They've got 13 seconds reserve time to make this final pickup. They need that mid laner of their own. Butterfly Effect, he's had mixed performance throughout this series so far, and they are going to give him the safe bet in the Kunkka. And of course, it does work very nicely with the Void, and even the X into the arrow of the Mirana. And what is it?
That's a Felix Void Spirit. It's an OP God Venge. So we're seeing the support Void Spirit make an appearance from SAG. It's been a while since I've seen that with Micah. We have seen a couple of times to great effect. It's a fascinating switch out from SAG. IGV's draft lineup, you know, you mentioned the Kunkka choice, combines with a Chrono quite nicely. So there is some wombo combo coming out from IGV. They do have to still play around with that Chronosphere and still be very cautious about who they catch out. I mean, you need to catch God King and OP God at the least to ensure that you find that kill. If not, well, Venge swap is just a bit strong. So we'll see how much they can pull out. SAG, with that Void Spirit support, they need a lot of EXP growth for Felix to really kick in. But if he gets that space, you know, it's a Void Spirit. You hit 6, that's it.
See how it pans out. It's going to be an interesting game number 3 between these two. It's sure to be explosive with these drafts as well. It's just there's a lot of team fight on both sides. And I would usually say it's good to see the new Disruptor cosmetic on Red Panda, but I don't know if I'm a big fan of that one. It's very Leshracky, right?
Yeah, it looks Leshracky. It looks like a Mirana mount or a Luna mount. I know there's some Luna mount that kind of looks like that with the horns. It actually got me a bit confused there for a bit. Yeah,
I mean, it looks.
You're right.
It looks cool in a way, and then it looks. I don't know. It's too similar to Leshrack.
What the just happened?
It's still pretty neat. The one thing I take issue with is I take issue with DD not having Arcana. I don't think we pointed that out last time, but you know, it's fine. Like, he performs well. You just think he'd perform better with the Arcana. Surely, that's how it works, right?
No, there's two types of people, John. There's some people that like the Arcana and some people that prefer the original. There was a lot of conversation about that. Some people really preferred some of the look of the original over that new Arcana of the quad. They're completely wrong about, by the way. I can kind of comprehend. I think both of them are lovely.
Yeah, it's fair enough. I'm still curious to see how much Felix does get done on this Void Spirit support. Again, it's been a while since we've seen that. there was a time where you'd really see the flex Void Spirit. It has kind of tapered off. So just how much space Felix is given to ramp up to that 6 going to be very important for how SAG does set up that thing.
Will be. So every time we saw the position for Void Spirit before, I feel like it didn't really have that much impact. It always felt a bit lackluster to me, but might be that game where Felix really shows off. Obviously, it's quite hard to trade harass with Void Spirit, considering he has Resonant Pulse. So you might kind of consider that in this lane matchup, but up against the Ogre, who can already be hard to trade harassment with, could be that little bit of a bonus that Felix might need. I guess he does transition into a really nice kind of 4th core if you are having that good of a game on the Void Spirit.
Yeah, the one thing is, I think it's fairly hard to bully out, say, even an Ogre Magi here. Even with that Resonant Pulse, it's just such a tanky hero that you might want to take those early hits.
Probably not. For now, he looks okay, but we'll have to put the other lanes, DD and Butterfly Effect, going to be up against each other one more time. And every other game we've seen thus far between these two has seen a lot of other heroes rotating into this mid lane. So we'll see if they're going to have a bit more of a lonely time together, or whether they are going to have to be joined by some rude other heroes. Top lane, never mind, does get killed off. He tried to go after it at first, but it will not work out. The Disruptor will secure the kill, and that's really not the greatest start for the offlane Mars.
Nah, it's a really good ramp up for God King though. This is giving him a lot of early space in the Terrorblade. He doesn't have Metamorphosis up now, so it's a slightly vulnerable time, but he's still having fantastic start, where Panda is taking all of that distraction away.
He's being chased down now. Spear does latch, but can they kill him off? Dust needs one more. No, he needs another. He will get a nice deep Observer Ward, giving vision for Dust to finish off that kill. And now with that Observer Ward being realized here, I'm sure that they'll get the D Ward off straight away. But that is definitely a nice pickup from IG.Vitality.
Yeah, just giving a bit more gold away once they get that D Ward off. And of course, I don't think God King minds too much, right? They're focusing so much and trying to kill off a Disruptor that there's so much space left for the Terrorblade to just freely farm.
Mid lane, QY was falling, or rather QY does die bot lane, but mid lane DD was falling very low on that quad. Will not go down. They do manage to get the Ogre down to that bot lane, and now they're thinking about trying to go on to Doodle for a bit. Just gonna harass him. He's by himself, it's just too easy to do it. Until that Ogre is back.
Yeah, the one thing is, you do have to watch out for the stun into the Aether Remnant. That's a pretty potent combo. Doodle just has to really be on point with when to use a Time Walk. If he uses it too early, then it's fairly easy for SAG to find that punishment in that dual lane.
Great setup there from, well, it's not enough. But he got the X-Torrent off and does have the arrow to follow up, but they just didn't have the damage output, so DD will barely survive. Now, I don't know how much farm he's going to be able to get on this kind of HP pool, but at least he doesn't die, and Butterfly Effect will still be able to secure some safe farm. So top lane, never mind, I can't say the same for him. He will go down on the Mars again. It's off the back of the Metamorphosis from that TB, but a great arrow up from Dust. Red Panda tried to juke it out, but kind of went the wrong way. That they were at least able to get some form of a trade.
This early aggression from IGV overall is kind of evening it out. I think the one big runaway from SAG is still God King, but they have kept DD in a severe check. You look at the last hits, Butterfly Effect is just really overtaking that lane, and whenever DD falls behind a bit, it's a bit harder for him to have that mid-game impact to buy God King that space. So they're going to have to try to bounce that back out for DD.
Still trying to use this creep wave right behind him as he went for that arcane rune on that quad. still have a creep wave underneath that T1, but Butterfly is just having a great old time with this Kunkka. You're at that point with the Tidebringer where he just hits like a truck. It's almost impossible for this Quap to try and contest this lane anymore. With the Shadow Strike, it's just not enough.
Are fortified.
Well, Butterfly would continue destroying this lane. He was looking for an X earlier on, but didn't quite get in range. He does also have Dark Mirana, who is quite low on HP, but she can get the if you do get that X off. But it doesn't seem like they're really going to have that opportunity anytime soon. And she might need to run, because Red Panda is chasing her down still. With the Thunder Strike, he is going to go for Butterfly. Nice arrow out. We'll go for the Mirana. The Tidebringer, or rather Torrent, will connect, and Red Panda does barely survive with 8 HP, but so does Dust. He also survives at about 20 HP. Way is going to go down on the Yoka.
Oh, it's just from both sides. It will Butterfly. Not
Boats out. Not going to connect, and DD doesn't really have the try and jump by tower. So Butterfly will be able to mid his bottle and survive through the Shadow Strike damage, and it does seem as though Dust is going to come in. Butterfly has no intention of leaving this lane quite yet. Like, he hits a nice Torrent, and now he's looking for the X. Red Panda is coming in. Arrow will land thanks to the X back, and Dance with the Starfall is not going to have enough. He cannot blink to that regen up top yet, but now Felix will come in on the pulse for Void Spirit, and will make sure this Quap survives. And DD will get a free reset with that regen.
Alright, that's a lovely time for the Queen of Pain. Just getting that full HP up while you do burst back on Butterfly effect. Not even getting the X play because of that massive cooldown. So gonna miss out in a bit. And you're seeing that support commitment down mid that we have seen this entire series. This is freeing up space for both Duke and God King. So the pause ones do get to get a lot more breathing room when the support's tied up like this.
That they do. Doodle has been trying to farm up the best he can, but he's definitely falling behind here. This is that point where it gets very concerning if you're up against this God King TB. He'll sit in this jungle for the next minutes. And you kind of just forget about him in the game because he never shows up to anything. And then next thing you know, he's sitting there like 4 slotted on the TB way too early on, and there's just no way to contest him. So see if they can get some deep wards down, maybe make some more rotations through that dire jungle. And now IG seems to be quite focused in on trying to maybe pressure that T1 top tower and go after Red Panda. Red Panda gonna run straight into Dust. Arrow gonna connect. Never mind, will have a nice easy spear setup, but doesn't actually commit. It will give the kill away to Dust on the Mirana instead.
It's a pretty important pickup. That's the first kill with the Urn. So you've got the charges up now on the Mirana, and that should allow a bit more presence in the rotations if they opt for it.
Yeah.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Dust was making a rotation through the mid lane to see if he could catch out that Quap, but everything was already expended by the Kunkka, so he has little to worry about. Arrow will scan out the power rune, but it's already been taken by DD.
Dire's top tower.
And I dare say, like, even though IG.Vitality do have the slight net worth lead right now, it still just looks way better for SAG based off the fact that you know what this Terrorblade's doing, you know how fast he's going to be able to farm up, and it is still early to try and really get that pressure going onto God King, but you'd expect it within the next few minutes, unless you start dying like this in top lane, where DD has made the rotation, and never mind, really has no way out. They do miss the scream, but he is still going to die to the Queen of Pain, and that T1 tower will be defended quite successfully here from DD.
Yeah, it's, the one thing I'm here from RGB is they haven't played that first chrono from Doodle. We always like to see, like, even just a pick off with that skill. Like, even a Mirana, you just land an easy arrow for damage outside. But it does look like IGV want to play that farming game, which is fine, but again, every single time that chrono is not used, that's a free kill you're basically just giving away.
That is true. They seem to want to get Mask of Madness up first on that Void, which, you know, it could be fair enough. Like, you just want to really secure the kill if you commit the chrono. There's going to be a smoke up from IGV. They do run up towards that top lane with Butterfly and Dust. They might find a nice little pick off here onto Red Panda, but no, they don't have the vision. So Red Panda is well aware of how many heroes are here from the top lane. Dust gets some deep wards down while he has a chance, but that tier 1 tower is definitely going down. And you know what? I do think IG.Vitality are starting to do the right thing by getting those deep wards into that dire junk. Trying to just keep tabs on what God King's doing.
Yeah, you can start to punish now, knowing the areas that God King's farming up in. They are clumping up down mid though, but fine.
Chrono is not connected. The X back on the clock. It won't matter. They still have the control. That if your first Chrono being expended as Red Panda, still going to be in trouble on that Disruptor. Probably is going to be the secondary death here for SAG. That's a good couple kills out for IG.Vitality.
Yeah, that's what we were looking for. Just a Chrono commitment to find that first kill. That did coincide with the Mask of Madness of Duel as well. So they've got that farming and fighting tool ready on the Faceless Void. Should help him try to match that pace that God King is getting in. Well, they do spot him out alone here.
Doodle with the invis has the Mask of Madness up. You have Dust coming in. Starfall not going to be there yet, but they don't really need it. He gets a Sunder off before that speed comes in, but there is no way to survive this. And that's really what you want to see from IGV. A very, very important pickup. Still Red Panda going to try and go up to QY and get some form of a trade. It's not going to be the easiest kill to get, but eventually be able to pick it up.
It's a much more positive trade for IGV, of course. That's just a support going down for the Pause 1 TV, and they even find next tower down bot for SAG. So they get an objective at the least to even out that map control, but they really do have to be cautious with God King. All the space they're giving him can bleed out if he is caught out. And IGV, they're starting to find some pretty big items. Like Butterfly Effect is just a recipe away from his armlet, and they continuously keep tabs up top.
I love this DD. Trying to blink himself out of there, never mind. As the arena won't commit yet, the glimpse will be there from Red Panda. They'll only be. Because God King has actually rotated over to the other more safe jungle of the Dire. Not willing to risk his life again in that same situation. I think it's definitely the right play here from God King. He's going for that standard build as well, the SNY that we tend to see, and he'll split it up later on to the mat on the Halberd. He's not going to be too far off that SNY.
Yeah, that's going to be key for God King if he does want to maybe contribute to some fights earlier on, which he might be forced to, is again IGV just being very aggressive. They've smoked up this tree once more.
Can they find? No Midnight Shadow up yet. He's about 10 seconds off that. So they want to go for Felix in that mid lane on that position 4 Void Spirit. Alright, knock. Speed does, and that'll be enough with the follow-up arrow. You saw Red Panda coming in, and he didn't have a chance to Static Storm, but didn't opt to yet. Now the invis is there. They do get the Kuka in that Static Storm and the glimpse. Arena is committed by Nevermind. We'll try and turn this one around, but God is there to join in on this team fight. But they are dropping like flies. SAG might need to just get out of here, but the Chrono, dude, no. It was baited again. And even the denier from OP got on the tier 1 tower. Just this, the disrespect from SAG.
I mean, it's still a free kill going the way of IGV. 3 kills for them. Those are only supports. Do you see Butterfly Effect's armlet really play a big part of that survivability? Just don't quite have enough to burn through him right now, as he has been on point with toggles, but still a good objective for IGV to take, even without that gold. Easier time to dip into the jungle now with tier 1 top and mid gone. They should really try to get control there, just to ensure that God King won't get that farm, but it's SAG's turn to smoke out.
Is indeed. They have that meta up in 3 seconds. Felix going to jump in onto Butterfly with the 8th of Remnant. Kinetic Duel's going to be there. Butterfly is falling very, very low. He is armor toggling and does actually get Felix with the glimpse back. They do secure that mid hook. Now onto the Ogre, stunned onto Doodle. QY probably shouldn't die. The swap is going to be out to secure, but now God King the spear coming out. They swap him out, but it's not enough. They will drop the Terror Blade, and now OP gonna have to make a run for it, and so will Red Panda. Doodle is chasing him down, but DD will try and protect that position 5 Disruptor. Unfortunately, nobody's going to be there to protect OP God. It's just going to drop on the bench. The arrow will be enough to get that kill. And it still seems to be another successful team fight out from IG.Vitality.
They're still winning out. This is not the ideal time for SAG to fight. They only just really finish up the SNY on God King, so this would be the better time, but they don't have Metamorphosis up because of that death. It was a bit of a keen Sunder coming out from God King, I have to say. It just kind of cost them there, as it doesn't have any way of extending that life, so missed opportunities for SAG. IG maintain a less than 1k gold lead, and they're still not quite up there in terms of farm compared to God King, but Doodle and Butterfly Effect are having a better time than OP God and DD, and they do Moonlight.
They will. OP God, the Pos 3 Venge could be a nice easy pick on, but never mind, we'll just drop the arena for it, and they don't get the speed yet, but they've got the Fire Blast and the turret flying through. OP God will go down. Now Felix duking up the arrow, but well, poor Red Panda has to take it. It's fine, there'll be no follow-up to it. Let's let the disruptor be. And you know, it's slowly getting more concerning for SAG. Like, I realize God King is still farming just great on the Terror Blade, but it is definitely slower than he usually does. And you look at Doodle with that Maelstrom coming up now. Having that added magic damage, once he does actually land the Chrono on that Terror Blade, it's gonna be quite a painful experience here for God King.
Yeah, it's not gonna be a fun time, and IGV, they're starting to line up that aggression quite nicely. They do still have a Chrono, and Doodle is around. They could just try.
He waits. The Static Storm came out in time. Red Panda with the reaction speed. They're trying to burst down the void, but he gets a time walk off. Down the speed, and the 3-man Chrono from Doodle. They swap out the Disruptor, but the arrow is going to be down to God King. Nobody focusing him yet, but they finally do. He gets the Thunder off, but no, the bow. It does fly in. God King's still running, but he is being controlled so well, and Dust will be the one to get the double. And now Butterfly looking for more. Won't be able to get anyone. It took a bit more than it should have by IGV, but they do get another 2 kills.
Yeah, and that was a really messy initiation from IGV. Doodle hesitated on that Chrono first, and it looked like SAG might have a bit of a way back, but they just don't. This Terror Blade from God King is just way too squishy. He is going into the Manta next, but I think at this point you might just want the BKB, just to ensure that you don't have any control issues outside of the Chrono or that Terror Blade, because he's just melting right now.
SAG, they're gonna have to sit back and kind of reassess. Yeah, he's been stunned up, but Felix will be there to make sure that he zones them out, but Dust gets an arrow out, doesn't really connect. Now they still want to keep fighting. Moonlight Shadow going to be out with the X on the Red Panda. They want to burst down this Disruptor. A nice ancient Remnant to hold down Dust, but it's not enough. Now they'll jump in with Felix. Red Panda, he fought back. The arena is down as well, but never mind as they go on to OP God. There's that Static Storm, but it's not doing anywhere near enough. So Felix will buy back as Dust does go down, giving a lot of gold to DD. Never mind falling very, very low, trying for the TP play, but won't make it out. But now, IGV, they're falling like flies. SAG end up winning up this team fight. And it does cost them some buybacks, but that was a lot of gold and XP going to the way of this Dark side.
Yeah, really worthwhile fight for SAG, and IGV, they force a real big team fight without Doodle around. Like, he wasn't even there, and they don't even have a Chrono. That's a major tool IGV needs to pace themselves with, and we mentioned that from the draft, but you are constrained to that spell to really find that advantage in a full team fight. So we just give a bit too much space towards SAG. You take a look at God King, that it is the Manta style up, and he is for the Scotty next. So the stats are flying up for the Terrorblade. That just makes it a bit to even control them up. Like, even this Void, Doodle's farm just does not measure up just yet. They really do need to find that perfect initiation to make God King melt, because he is starting to get a little bit too big with that space.
That he is. It's just a matter of having the Chrono up. That's the thing, right? Like, if you had Doodle there in that team fight with the Chrono, it could have been a completely different story. They just kind of were a little bit impatient. IGV side.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I'm gonna start roaming around that Roshan here. That Doodle will jump in. The Roshan. Arrow gonna help out a bit of keeping it disabled up, and SAG, I don't believe they're actually aware this is happening. But you would imagine they should be, because there's that observer ward scouting them running through that Radiant side jungle, but they must assume they're invading the Dire jungle, because they don't really have enough, but they do have enough damage.
Yeah, that is going to make things more complicated for SAG. Doodle with second life has more opportunities to hold out on that Chrono and force SAG to maybe blow some big spells first before committing it. Still, SAG, they're going to try to go for a tier 2, force out the Fortify.
They do. SAG, they'll be able to get this tier 2. JV not going to be in position to try and defend this. They are trying to get in range to trade, and you see the pings coming out for the opposing tier 2, and they may be able to get it eventually, considering SAG may not be willing to fight without those support buybacks nor the Aegis on Doodle. But no, IGV, they're going to leave it be. Just keep escalating in farm. They understand they also need to be able to keep up with God King, who is going straight into that Eye of Skadi now on that Terrorblade. And if you don't keep up the farm, it doesn't really matter how many times you trade objectives. He is still going to be a huge issue.
Yeah. So it's concerning because God King doesn't even have anything defensive beyond the Manta dodge. Right? That's self-purge. So he has room to grow with a BKB coming out, maybe a Butterfly for damage if he really feels the need. And IGV, this is the time for them to kind of fight. They've got a Chrono up, they've got the jungle. They should try to force the issue before anything else can be farmed up from SAG, and well, they're pumping up, but there are some pretty forward wards here from SAG to watch the exit of their jungle.
Ooh, he has that Chrono. He may just go for the solo Chrono pick off on DD, and that looks like that's what he wants. He does get the Chrono. Now with the arrow follow-up, it clips it back, but he's going to get the damage off in time. DD down for 50 without buyback. Felix going to jump in anyway onto QY. Does get the Ogre kill, but Doodle will happily keep fighting. Now the boat is due to fly through, but it doesn't connect on anyone, but a great arena round from Nevermind. The Static Storm is there, but they ignore it completely and just go for click damage from the Void. Nevermind able to pick up a double kill on the Mars. And now they may be able to pressure that tier 2 mid tower.
That's going to be a big objective for the side of IGV. You do have the Metamorphosis up and ready in God King, but the rest of his team down with Static Storm down for a minute. Probably not going to go for the defense. They do force out the Fortify. It's going to make it easier to transition to a different objective once they do take this one out.
King. They're going to go after the Void, and they might just get this Aegis. He's falling very, very low, and they will. Now, do you turn, or do you just keep running away? There'll be a spear onto that Vengeance. IGV, they don't want to borrow this. They'll back off. Still fearing the Terrorblade farm? No, they're turning back around with the Moonlight Shadow. I don't know if this is the real fight to take without that Chrono, and they'll decide to get better of it as well. They do just sit back and get back to farm.
Yeah, it's risky again to play outside of Chrono, so you're just gonna wait that out. They did expend the Aegis as well, so SAG with a fairly successful defense buying out some more breathing room. It's just one part away from that Skadi. Once that's up again, you're looking at more stats for the Terrorblade. You do have the SNY up from Doodle, fairly late SNY, but that added durability and added damage can make a difference. So having a lot more options on that Faceless Void. The real big things to watch out for is in initiation. Nevermind has opted to skip the blink although.
I think trying to kind of play there for Felix. He didn't connect the Aether Remnant anyway. Hit a creep. So he just wanted to force back the Void. He does do so. We'll actually see Doodle now really queuing up a lot more items, going for that BKB into the MKB. It's just more bonus damage up against that Terrorblade. But God King now has enough gold to pick up that full life Scotty. And he's going to be hitting like a truck already. Now with the slow, even more control is there on SAG once he does buy that point booster. But when you're going to be able to use it is a different question entirely, as Chrono is back up now on Doodle. So it's definitely very, very safe to go after this team fight as long as the Void is up. They're going to smoke anyway. Dust. Light Shadow. Be there. Now running through a sentry ward of the Dire, but there's no real observer ward to give vision.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant are scanning.
Scan out. Just gonna be the TB illusion.
Radiant's
He'll realize it, Dust will show himself and take it out. Scanking. And Gorky, he's in the front lines. Excellent. He's there, he's trying to bait for his team, but this could be very, very dangerous. Torrent does commit, never mind. He's quite hesitant. And it seems as though they want the Chrono committed to perhaps swap God King out and just waste it completely.
tower is under attack.
So OP God is standing right behind him, just ready to go. Now IGV, they've split up, so the glimpse back on Mars will force the BKB. Nevermind, just going to TP out immediately. And that'll be it. IGV do successfully retreat out of that dire jungle.
Yeah, that's a pretty fast though. That's the 10-second BKB with Nevermind being expended just to bail out. And that was really down to the fact that did leave really early.
It's not over. They kept going, they found out the Mirana, they dropped the Static Storm for it. He does pop the Guardian Greed, but it will not be enough. They will also get a tier 1 top tower. And while the audience is going on, God King gets bigger and bigger, John. I believe he's got a Halberd up now, and also gets a Paladin Sword. It's been found out. Oh, excuse me, I want the Master Fountain. But nevertheless, he'll go on to tier 2 top tower, and he'll get him free. There'll be no contest.
It's really big for IGV, for SAG. They've got a lot of farm on the Trailblade. They're ready to fight even more.
Bot lane onto Felix, just trying to secure 1 kill, but they swap out Doodle, and now Doodle in trouble. He'll try and survive. Sonic Wave out from DD with the Orchid. It should be enough damage, and is. They can punish by taking down OP God, and that is exactly what they'll try and do. But I would not say it's worth it. Well, they might keep going. Felix, he's not done. He wants to go back in with God King there on the TB, but they decide better of it. Leave him be.
It's, I do agree. It's not worthwhile trading your Void for a support in the offlane at this point. That's a Chronosphere expended as well. So when you respawn, it's going to be down for about 2 minutes or so. And again, that's one of the issues with like a Faceless Void and the Terrorblade. You're constrained to these big spells. The Chrono for the Faceless Void, the Metamorphosis for God King, and when you die like that, well, it's not the ideal situation, as he's still saving up for his BKB. This is something that Doodle has not had. He doesn't have any defensive items. He went for the SMY with the Madness, so no Manta to dodge out the Orchid, which has killed him multiple times now. Just so much value with that from DD that it's becoming an issue. So they need to wait out that BKB now on their Faceless Void. Doodle just cannot stand and fight, even with the Chrono, because he just can't catch everyone out.
It's just, it's getting bad for IGV for sure. Like, they can't keep up with the farm anymore of God King. Closest you've got is the Conquer. Butterfly Effect has been doing a great old job of keeping up. He's trying to go for that Aghanim Scepter up next. effective this game is you don't really have that many BKBs on SAG at the moment. In fact, I believe the only person who does have it is DE. You don't have one on God King or OP God. Nor do you have it on supports, of course. And so that Torrent Storm could be a little game changer out from IG.V. Now going to try and pursue a kill perhaps in this Diana jungle. Felix does get spotted. He will see them as well. Torrent and Last going to come with the arrow out and they will burst him down. Dust, pop the Moonlight Shadow. They want to keep going for this fight, but God King does pop the meta. Static Storm won't hold anyone in as them fine. Does go for a solo pickoff onto Red Panda and does get it, but there'll be a buyback. Never mind now. Trying to just block out the damage here from God King, and he's doing a decent job of it, but now he has waited too long and he will go down.
It's still a 2-for-1 trade for IG.V. That one is a bit more worthwhile as they do force the buyback out on Red Panda, giving themselves a bit of an edge. They do find a Roach as well. Both sides are aware it's up, and that should be an easy move in for us. Wary of that chrono.
You might be dead. He was just in the pit scouting it out, and it's going to cost him his life. Now you've got 2 heroes down. They'll both buy back. They understand they need to fight this Roach on. And this is actually perfect timing as well, because you don't really have the meta up now. Yeah. So if they just wanted to rush this, they probably could get away with it.
Yeah. You don't have the best options to fight in from SAG. The Static Storm is going to be up in about 10 seconds, so you have that, but they go for the fight first.
Smoke broken. They know. Red Panda, Limit capability, dusted up. Dust does get the Yules. Now a great torrent out with the boat flying through. The boat won't really connect on anyone though. And never mind, dude, we're gonna get a chrono. Catches out DD. He'll go off that spot to get that killer. God King got pushed back into the chrono. He gets swapped out, but he cannot get the sun drop in time. OP got also buying. DD, he falls back, but it may be worth more. As they will now lose the disruptor Red Panda. Dust on a triple kill on this Mirana. And now they can definitely go for this Roshan.
But yeah, that's a really big opening now for IG.V. They widen the lead to 6K. They're going to have an important objective on hand. You're in a very perilous spot here with God. Just never has enough gold for bypass as he constantly needs to build up. And that is going to be an issue in these defensive fights. Now, there is a lot more power for IG.V to eat through. There's still a tier 2 top, there's still that tier 2 mid, and even that tier 1 bot. They can't find as much. They will be able to apply a lot more pressure now, knowing they do have that advantage.
Tier 2. Gonna go down. They definitely want to try for a high ground attempt, I'm sure. No chrono, they'll back off. There's actually literally no buybacks in the map as well. So it's kind of like, it felt like an opening, not those buybacks available, but you never know what's going to happen without that chrono. Not to mention Felix is using a media hammer to push down that bot tier 3 tower. Never mind, is trying to go for the chase now with that Invis rune, and Felix TP, but it's a long TP, and the spear will land. Oh, that's unfortunate. Your Astral set, but he's been aired. Assimilate will not help, but the Yules will. Never mind, still on the chase. That's the second he committed, and he actually will make it out. No, he won't. The arena will be there. Never mind. And he just didn't want committed. He was being a bit greedy with that ulti, and eventually does have to do one and try to go for a TP, but he's right underneath an observer ward. He will also end up going down.
Yeah, it's support for support trade. Not the worst for either side. I think SAG is still going to be a bit more happy with the tower damage they've done with Felix. He did a considerable amount, down to about half there on that tier 3 bot. Is an opening for IG.V to push that tier 1, which has lived for a bit too long here from SAG. So just finding simple objectives. They're going to have the chrono up in a bit. It's just about 5 seconds off. So they can start to play aggressive once more.
That bottom tier 2 has been glyphed up by SAG.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant structures.
TPing in, they want to fight this. You have chrono. Dust Storm not land in time. He gets the leap off. And now you might feel very confident to go back in. The X is going to be there into the boat. OP does take all that damage. The Glimmer Cape helping out. Arrow again gonna land on this bench. They know it too. They pick it up straight away. Now Doodle just jumps in. They glimpse him out. Torrent Storm gonna be there from the front line back. Allowing the disengage. Doodle has popped his BKB and still is going to knock that T2 tower. You are taking a fair bit of damage to the Doodle, and he will eventually just leave. And that'll be it. IGV, even with the Aegis and even with the Chrono, do not feel confident to take the team fight. But it is also just fine to waste the Metamorphosis of God King anyway. So perhaps if you just smoke up now for IGV, it's you know the meta's not there.
Yeah, they do need to wait a little bit more, but it's an opening for IGV in the end, and they can't just kind of force the issue if they want. They have such a good combo with that Torrent Storm Chrono that you really don't want to miss out. And well, that preemptive boost from God King means that you really shouldn't show up for a fair bit. It's a lot of time where your Terrorblade just isn't going to be hitting as hard without that Metamorphosis.
And he's not. That's the unfortunate thing about the Terrorblade, is just without the meta, no matter how much farm you have, you're not going to feel that great. Oh, God King. Very close call. Dunstan still trying to get the Yules off in time, but he will not. God King tried for the reflection, but was out of range. And IGV will just continue increasing this net worth lead they have. Sitting at 9k, almost at the 10k mark. I believe Doodle just brought out a 4 MKB to boot.
Yeah, just more damage on that Faceless Void. That's the BKB of God King coming out, so a little bit more of that control being taken away. Still worried about the Chronosphere at the end, though.
I mean, he's split pushing the bot lane. He's actually almost got the T3 town. It is going to cost him his life. It's just a Meteor Hammer. He clears out the waves, he pops the Meteor Hammer and just tries to run again. And that time around, he didn't really get out. And it seems with his death, IGV feel confident to try and go for another team fight. But nobody's going to be around. The whole side of SAG have backed off into that dire side base. And that's the Aegis gone as well. Doodle doesn't fire.
Yeah, that's a massive window to miss out. Not gonna have that additional durability and leeway on Doodle to just hold on to the Chrono. They're gonna have to be decisive with that. And lead. You know, it doesn't feel like IGV has an advantage over SAG. It just feels really even so far. They're still trying to find certain solutions here. Doodle is saving up for Satanic. God King has shifted out from a Satanic himself. He's going for the AC. Just wanting that durability out to last through the Chrono. That is a very good solution for that spell. And, well, the tier 4 items are starting to drop now as well.
And they are. Flicker out for DD. Seems the IGV are not too interested by the tier 4 item. They still want to go for that fight. They were scanned out, so everyone from SAG just completely avoid any form of engagement.
Radiant are scanning.
They are still just trying to secure more items up. I mean, Red Panda, he's almost at the... Not almost, but he's going towards the Ags on that Disruptor. Like you already pointed out, the AC on God King is certainly going to help. Even the Aeon Disc on DD is going to make it so you can't really just commit the Chrono on DD himself. And I don't believe IGV should be giving them this much time. All these items to sustain themselves through that Chrono. Without the Chrono, IGV can't really win the team fight very effectively.
Yeah,
so
it is getting to that point, right? It's the Chrono for IGV, it's the Metamorphosis for God King. Both sides do have timers to them. It kind of does lead to this awkward pacing. Now, you do have some pretty nice tier 4 items, like you've got the Minotaur Horn on God King, so he has a PP now as well. There's a lot more leeway for Terrorblade to really stand and fight there, and it's a bit tricky to find that big opening you want.
SAG seem to think they found an opening. They're going up towards the top lane with the smoke. They might try to just quickly sneak this top rats. And there's the clip coming coming out. SAG is going to take a quick back step, forcing all the TP rotations. Glimpse of Butterfly Effect will force the BKB. There's that Minotaur Horn coming out from God King. There's a lot of wasted abilities now from IG.V. And Doodle gonna jump in, he gets the Chrono, but it is only on that Terrorblade to swap out from OP. Serena there, OP goes down, and now the Torrent Storm flying through, but is it enough? They've got Felix, so Astral step out of there. The X is on top. The Static Storm not really doing too much at the moment. Butterfly is falling very low and does go down the Kunkka, and God King, he'll just keep standing his ground. Even if Doodle was just hitting him, he'll sunder away now. Never mind, trying to run, but he's just so slow with an Iron Skadi, slowing him down. They'll go on to Q1 instead. They'll get the Ogre. Now Doodle back off the field, does get hit. It's back to the Void versus God King. Doodle does not win it out. He does go down, but he does have the buyback available. Never mind. Still about to drop, does go down. More buybacks coming out, but it looks like SMG, they are happy with all the buybacks that have been expended, and they will back off for a bit. They could re-engage here. There's no Chrono. God King, he doesn't have better either, but he's feeling confident. He'll go back with the Fire Blast. Not going to be enough, but now the Sun that just in time. It is going to mean that the Disruptor dies, but who knows if you can find the Void. Doodle's in big trouble. He'll BKB up the swamp. Won't be enough.
Radiant's top tower.
And the dust is still falling quite. Hate to remember. I thought it might have sniped him out, but they are going to get that top racks. Oh, SAG. What a way to take your first lane. They're not done, John. They're going for more.
Yeah, they opened up that bot lane of X. You know, the tier 3 did fall. So that... Another X.
This is why you can't wait. They may have just played too cautiously, IG.V. God King. Get rats. They the mid because there is a tier 2 tower, but you're suddenly 2 racks is up, and that 11k net worth lead that was there for IG.Vitality is completely gone.
And this is the issue with this trap. Yeah, the Terrorblade does rely on Metamorphosis, but I'd say the Void with the Chrono is much more vulnerable without it. You know, like we're still seeing God King pump the damage out with Metamorphosis, and on top of that, you know, it's like a buff. It's like a steroid that lasts longer. Chrono is just a tiny 5 second you have to always land.
Felix, he's trying to go for the Yules into the media hammer. They're gonna bring in God King with the Metamorphosis. They are feeling very confident. Chrono is back up. Slightly cautious, but God King, no, he goes in, and now the arena, never mind. God King by himself gets Chronoed up, and they swap him out of the Peacock. Looking for that TB, he can't quite get it yet. God King's on time mode. Look at the sun off. Doodle double. He gets silent stun, and the stun is there, but he will survive. Now the Torrent Storm flying through dust. He'll jump in, but he should get the Terrorblade. In fact, they get a lot more than that. SAG, they've got 3 heroes down with no buybacks. Have they made an oopsie jump?
It's a pretty big fight to give away. That opens up the Roche. There is an Axe there as well. Quite frankly, I'm not sure who they give it to. It just dust. Yes, maybe onto the Void if it wants to, but still a big objective now for RGB, making up for those buybacks. Aegis cheese, and no competition from SAG. Just blooded it too much. Now those tier 4s are being shoved in a bit though. Some decent chip damage there at least.
Sure. And I didn't realize they got that whole net worth lead back. They got more than what they had.
Yeah, it was a huge spike, and I mean, you forced God King's buyback. He's not gonna have that for some minutes. Let's finish up the AC, but.
This net worth graph hasn't even updated all the way, by the way. It's coming past the 15k mark very soon. That is just a very sharp V on that graph. I can't remember the last time I've seen an actual V on the graph. It's kind of insane. One team fight, and they got a 16k advantage. That is insane.
Oh, it is. And it's just down to the timings that you have to pull off here. Like, God King has to get the BKB after the Chrono, but if you don't do it for the Chrono, by the time the Chrono's done, you're chain stunned buy the Kunkka anyway. There's a lot of things that needs to happen here for SAG if they get jumped like that. And IGV, when they play on the aggressive, when they land those big chronos, Doodle is big enough to actually handle it. Like, he is just hitting pretty darn good now. He's got his level 25 talent for the AoE Inferno. It's just a massively big, big AoE now that just allows him to really get that control. And he's got the Ags buff. The time mock with the lock on the landing, just more control out for IGV.
Here we go. DD. Let's escape. They know the Moonlight Shadow's there, and SAG just gonna back out. Not willing to risk a bad team fight as they are lacking buybacks right now. Still looking towards that Satanic on God King. We've almost got that Ags up on the Disruptor now as well. He's about 400 gold away. IG.V gonna start forcing in that mid wave. What's Dota Plus say about all this? Dota Plus actually had the exact same reaction to that last fight, by the way. No blink, just go backwards. They're feeling confident with that Aegis and the Chrono. Maybe back on that Terrorblade. Down the Chrono, it does catch up to, but it's swapped down. They do get the Terrorblade out of there. DD, the down just will keep him safe. Now the Torrent Sword for Butterfly Effect, making it very hard to read. He's being stunned, but he gets a Sunder in time. Now the Aegis is gone. They go after the Kunkka. He'll go down. Buybacks immediate though. Doodle jumps back in after the Terror for the spinning. On the arena will be enough. He does not have buyback. He'll off DD. On that swap, will buy back with the arrow connecting onto Felix. He tries to get back in and delay things. He will survive. Now, the tier 4 towers. They want to finish off this game without that Terrorblade. You are missing about 30k worth of net worth from the side of SAG. Oh, man. 23k advantage is actually about 53k advantage. Panda goes in, but no, he's gone. There's arrows flying absolutely everywhere. DD, he gets buffed effectively. So the dieback on the Kunkka. Can they actually hold the top? Oh, it's actually going down there. Hurry up. Oh, he's trying to rush it. Someone needs to defend this. Someone needs to get in there. They try, but no. Locking in QI. Can he actually stop this? The siege creeps. Oh, they are going to get it. I can't believe.
What the hell?
I cannot believe that. What the hell is this game?
Oh, God. That is... Wow, I mean, IGV, that was supposed to be their first series win. They can't even find that. SAG, Felix with a remnant, just... They noticed way too late, IGV. I mean, oh man.